Hey, here we go.
Yay, hooray.
That's it.
Uh, uh, we're on now. Well, all right. What's new, guys?
All right, here I am.
All right. Well, what's new?
Same old, same old. Lots of weather here. I've seen rainbows almost every day, double rainbows, which, according to our new friend in the chat, there is a sign of the dome. Still not buying that one when I can replicate
No,
it in the house with a bowl of water
Yeah.
or a glass of
unless
water.
unless you can do it. Did you say unless you can replicate it with a bowl of water?
No, I can. I can do it. I make rainbows in my house all the time.
Yeah. So why aren't you buying it?
The dome, the glass dome, I was done with that a few months into this. I thought y'all had understood I was not buying the glass dome anyway.
Mm.
Firmament, yeah, some kind of electromagnetic layer that's got a suspension of some type of phase of water we don't understand yet up there. Yeah, that's more likely than a terrarium. I think the terrarium idea is just another level of control to contain us and keep us contained,
Right.
like they were trying to do with the ball.
Okay. I've never heard that before. Well.
Wow, yeah, I'm more along the lines of the infinite plane idea. There's exits at the poles. They don't want us to know about them. That's why the whole Antarctic Treaty is there to keep us from getting away from this area that we're contained in. I think it's more akin to that Tibetan map that was found in the Hawaiian newspaper and the book Poles, Land Beyond the Poles, which talks about expeditions that went to those places knowing that there were exits to other lands that are basically an infinite plane beyond.
Mm. Yeah. I don't know what to buy these
And
days.
it fits in with all the idea of there being places that are not available to us. I mean, if you just look at the map that we're given, there's a space between Antarctica, I mean, between Australia and South America that would easily hold a whole continent.
Mm.
And that's just on the map that we're given. And then if you flatten it and do the AE projection, then it definitely shows a huge area that could contain land. And if you look at old maps, there is land there. It was called Mu.
So when Captain Cook sailed and was looking for that land, you saw his old maps or his old routes where he was searching around for something.
Is that when he found the magnetic island?
No, well east of me, thousands of miles east of me. Yeah, you just have a look at Captain Cook's route, and he was round and round circles, say 10,000 kilometers. Yeah, say 5,000 kilometers away from where I am. He's going round and round circles looking for something.
No finding it, apparently.
Hmm. So it looked like he definitely was searching for something.
Right.
Yes. But no, I don't know what to believe. Well, with the dome and I hear people saying that they get a telescope and they can see Saturn and the rings of Saturn clearly. What do you make of that?
I've looked through many telescopes throughout the years, and I've seen things that definitely appear to be something that could be considered what they describe, but I've also seen telescopes that turn it into an image that's too good to be true. It's like a 3D image in a computer almost. Then I've also looked through a simple, like, just pair of astronomical binoculars and seen the moons of Venus myself. I mean, of Jupiter myself. So, yeah, there's heavenly bodies up there. Whether they're what we're being told they are, I don't buy it. I've seen too much that just doesn't work in their models. That's why I had the questions I had in the classes I took throughout the years. It just doesn't work. Like the alignment of the moons of Jupiter. If you look, they're always lined up in a straight line. They're never at angles. Like they're always at either 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock or 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. They're never one over at 2 o'clock and one over at 3 o'clock and one over at 6 o'clock and one over at 8 o'clock, like a normal orbit should work. They're always lined up. And that just doesn't make sense. Just like the fact that our moon and sun are supposedly all these millions of miles separate, but they're the exact same size to cause the eclipse. Which, did you get to see the eclipse down there where you are? We didn't get to see it here. Rob? Uh-oh.
I'll take that as a no.
It looks like we lost him.
None of your business if I saw that clip or not.
Yeah, we're not gonna tell you. He's out of here.
Oh yeah, sorry about my potty language. I gotta watch my mouth. I don't have to worry about the FCC here, so it's fun to be able to say it.
The whole idea of there being land beyond the poles fits more into the idea to me also of
Whoa.
the whole, what happened?
Sorry. The other way.
But just like the other day when I was talking to Alexis about the chemtrails, and she, that's one thing people always say, well, they wouldn't spray it all in the air. They have to live here too. Maybe they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they don't have to live here, and that's the whole point. We're their area to just, do with as they will.
I've had that exact same conversation with Aaron. Well, they have to breathe it too, and they have to eat it too. Why would they poison all the food? But I just say because they don't eat that food, and they most likely don't breathe the air. Well, they have a vaccine or they have a system where they're immune to it. They're not idiots.
They just get out of here when they come in for a brief visit and do their promotional tour and head out. And it's like, when do you see them live? So it's all on TV. And once it's on TV, it's all fake to me at this point, all of it.
So I just got a message from Facebook. There's a guy on YouTube who does like a podcast. He's actually like a regular media guy in New Zealand. His name is Vinny Eastwood. It's like this guerrilla media. And he posted a tweet the other day. It says it's real hard to take when you learn that the world isn't as it seems. What's worse is you appear insane too. So I retweeted it and it posts to my Facebook, but Facebook said that it doesn't follow their community standards. So they took it off my timeline.
Oh my goodness. Insanity, just very much insanity. James, are you changing your avatar?
No.
I keep seeing a different person or something popping up. Are you replicating again?
All right. You see on your left hand side there, Walt? Is there like a little toolbar?
Not on the phone.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
how I
why.
would be able to.
That's why.
Practice, I guess.
Yeah, sorry guys, I keep on getting kicked off all the time. What's going on?
Nothing. Welcome back.
You get a real strong signal? That's really weird. Why does it keep kicking you off?
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing's changed for me. I sit in exactly the same places where I normally sit.
Everything went awry for me after I got the new phone. I've been having trouble since then, but I don't know why you're having so much trouble.
So as I was saying before I got kicked, the stars for me are just, I don't know, they're just weird for me. They're there, aren't they? They're there, you can see them, but how far are they away? And if you can see Saturn and the rings and the moons, and there's something there.
If I can see it with an astronomical pair of binoculars, and I don't really believe it's millions of miles away at all. I mean, I think they're only 80 times, maybe. I'll have to go look at them, but they're not like anything great, super great. You can see craters on the moon with them, and that's but they're not. I would never have thought I could see the moons of Jupiter with them.
No, that's right. No, but we're all learning, aren't we? Learning as we go.
When I kept seeing all this crazy footage of the stars with all the electric orbiting and like looking like a plasma ball or whatever, I was like, okay, that's cool, but I need to see that for myself. And then I took some pictures with this camera that looked a lot like what they showed on those videos. I just had to open the thing and like set it on the tripod and let it sit there for a few seconds and do its thing. I couldn't hold it and do it, but it worked. I definitely took some pictures that looked just like what they were showing, with the arcs going from the middle out to the edge rings, and it definitely doesn't look like a gas ball billions of miles away.
No. No. Those those numbers of those stars, are they changing? Have they changed over time? Like
Of course.
like the sun. Like the
Right.
sun, they first said it was 2 million miles away. Now it's 500 years later or 2,000 years later it's 93. Have they changed how far the stars are away as well?
Yes, they have.
Have those numbers been increasing as well?
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
All their models have to change when someone like our groups start throwing monkey wrenches in the works. I mean, when we start pointing out the flaws, then they have to fix it. That's what relativity was about in the first place, when all the experiments were showing the Earth not moving and showing no rotation, and that's why Einstein's wife had to write her theory of relativity for him to sell.
We were talking about the Koppler effect or whatever, Doppler effect yesterday, and you never end up getting back on with us. Yeah.
No, I couldn't have. I was having so much trouble.
Do you think? Well, we know what the ball Earth believers think with relativity. with sound moving at the same pace as it moves with the atmosphere. Do you? And John, I saw John was tweeting that someone east of you wouldn't be able to hear you. If what do you make of all that? Do you believe that your sound would travel with the 1,000 miles an hour of the spin of the Earth, or what?
I know sound has to have some type of medium to move through, either a solid object or air or something. Now, that goes back into that whole thing of the air and the atmosphere moving with the whole turn and all that bull. As we already know from what we've looked at, all of us in our research, or at least I'm convinced that, we're not moving. So it really kind of is a mute argument at this point for me. It's kind of like arguing the curve and arguing gravity and arguing all these things that really to us don't matter anymore. It's the people who have to get past and done with it. And vacuum and the rocket thrust and all that crap. And I know it's kind of like dismissive thinking at this point, but we've gone round and around with it ourselves and looked at it and weighed it and measured it and tried to figure it out. And it's come out on this side of the fence for us, at least, that, this holds more water than their theory. So until we get a rocket and go playing up there with it, I don't know. I know when I used to build rockets, they would go up really, really high, and they worked through the atmosphere, pushing off the atmosphere. That's what I do know. Some of them were less successful than others. Some misfired. Some blew up on the little launch pad, but they all had to push off of something. And to me, it was always pushing off the atmosphere. But I don't know. I never got one up into the space area.
Well, what stops? This might seem like a stupid question, but what stops those fighter jets go straight up? What stops them? Why can't they just keep on pushing up? Lack of air.
I thought they blacked out at a certain point. I don't know.
Yeah, lack of air. Or the lack of thrust. They're starting to push against nothing as they're getting higher and higher. Or
yeah, the engines stall out for lack of air, right?
So there you go.
It's not even that it's not that even that the engines will run and push; they just stall.
Yeah.
To me, the whole argument of the atmosphere
I must be
moving.
silly. I can't understand that stuff. It doesn't.
Just visually, I can see
Okay.
the air isn't moving together. Just visually, because I can watch cloud layers going in 5 different directions above me at many times. While over there's a cane field being burnt off, and the smoke is floating to the left, and over here is a fog bank, and it's floating there. And I can see these things are all doing different things, and they're all doing it independently, and they're not all linked in this big Velcroed atmosphere that all moves in unison in some kind of giant bubble. It just doesn't make sense from what I'm seeing, let alone from the experience of it working. We know we can talk to somebody east of us, so that whole argument's silly. Or west of us, or whichever direction it is. I'm trying to think. Yeah, right. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like relativity. They keep telling you everything's relative, but at the end of the day, it's relative to nothing.
Exactly.
And if a plane, I always go back to it as well. If a plane takes off, and where he's taking off, the Earth is spinning at 300 miles an hour, and he's heading towards the equator, then the Earth's supposed to be spinning at 1,000. So he's not relative anymore. His relativity is 300. And as soon as he turns his airplane in any direction, you'd lose your relativity. You're not relative to where you took off anymore, are you?
Right.
So you're taking off at 300. So your plane, say you're heading north-south, your plane is going 300 miles an hour west-east from the atmosphere. And you're moving into an atmosphere that's going way, way faster than that. Yeah. Help me. Am I thinking of it wrong or what?
I don't think so.
See, that's math. Where's John? I do see what you're saying now.
Yeah, the way I see it, as soon as you turn that aeroplane, your relativity is gone. It's gone. You can't be flying in one direction and still be moving in it can't happen like that. It can't work like that. Help us, Globers. Help us. Jump on. What about you, James? What do you think?
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I agree with what you say, but I'm also really skeptical. And I just hope we can get a spinner on tonight. That would be really fun.
Hey, Hack,
Yeah.
did you want to be a moderator on the chat?
When?
That's the live chat.
On the internet?
Yeah, like it's on the YouTube.
The interwebs, Hack.
Oh, I'm on my phone.
Oh, yeah, that may not.
I can do that.
All right.
I can do that for a little while.
Well, I've got you set up as moderator. I've got Walt and James both set up as moderators too. So
Okay, cool.
it's covered. I just didn't figure. I would need a channel name is all. That's it.
What do we model? What do we have? Do we have guidelines?
Yeah, if you piss us off, we're gonna kick you the fuck out of here.
So I can do leg drops.
Damn right.
So basically, I have full mod powers, full leg drops.
Well, I mean, you don't necessarily have the mod powers. I have the ability. I think only I have the ability to actually eject someone from the call since I'm the one that started. Unless somebody else wants to log in under the Iron Realm Media YouTube channel and they can take over.
No, but I think you can. I think you can pass it on when you leave. There must be a way. If you leave.
If you leave me, can I come too?
I saw somebody was doing Pink Floyd breakdown. Is that right?
Yeah.
We should play some songs. We should
There
play
was a
some
band
clever
called
songs
Yeah.
to lure the spinners. We should play like I Can See for Miles and Miles. Oh, we get in trouble for that, huh?
Yes.
I can see for miles.
Come on, anyone who thinks it's a globe, come on.
The earth is flat. The earth is flat.
The earth is flat.
Man, I'm having trouble with this crap again. I hope it's all right.
The earth is not a globe.
Somebody has a wicked amount of muffled.
I think it's
I think
from the
that's Rob.
aviary.
Yes,
Sounds
I
like
think
it's
you're
coming
correct.
from the bird sanctuary.
it's pretty scathing on the ears.
Dude, we can't have that going out live.
Oh, it's too late
for
now.
that.
Perhaps you don't understand live.
Brogan.
No, I don't.
We are live.
Iron Realm Media. We have Rob and the aviary.
Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, we have Rob and the Feisty Birds.
We got well down
So
south.
somebody in chat wants to know what the first thing that made us think that the Earth was not, that we're not on a ball. What's the first thing that made you think that you're not on a ball?
I saw a YouTube headline that said the Earth is flat.
So you thought, I'm not on a ball.
It never occurred to me. And then after that, it was the Bedford level, really.
That's a good one. Bedford level was a really good one.
Yeah, I guess mine was just more of a particular person, if we're going to go that route. Just some guy whose opinion I'm greatly respected kept saying that people that believed we lived on a spinning ball were stupid. And after a couple of weeks of wrapping my head around the fact that he wouldn't be saying that without proof, because that's just the kind of guy he is, I decided to go take a look at it myself to see if I could see what it was that he saw. And sure enough, I did.
What was it?
The Earth isn't flat.
No, I mean, what was his thing? Do you remember?
Earth is flat. Now, I don't remember exactly what. Again, it wasn't any one specific thing. It was just the overabundance of evidence. I don't remember the one specific thing that finally caused all the dominoes to fall. But the fact that, there's definitely something there. But I'm less of a flat earther than most flat earthers.
I think that it was kind of, maybe for most of us, it was kind of contingent upon the model. Because you start destroying the globe, and it's like that's where they get what's now. But
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I started trying to debunk it immediately when I saw the YouTube videos, because I was researching something about the moon, the lunar wave phenomena, which I had observed myself. And when I saw these videos popping up, I laughed. I'm like, come on, seriously? So immediately I set about debunking it the quickest way possible, which is go straight to NASA. I mean, they're the source. Coincidentally, this was about the same time they put out their 2015 Earth-Moon transit video. And when I saw that, it was pretty much like, come on, I can do a better video than that on my computer or my phone. This is not real. So if they're showing this for real, then it's not. Let's see what else is going on. And it was just a building up of evidence over time. When I finally went out on the beach and saw the sun interplaying with clouds, and I could see drilling rigs that have to be 18 miles offshore, and I had been across a bridge in New Orleans that was 24 miles long and completely flat, then I kind of could see it for myself at that point.
The Earth is flat.
I mean, the Earth is flat.
How about you, Rob? What was it that made you finally realize you weren't on a ball?
When I took my telescope down on the beach, and I was proving to myself that what videos, no boats over the horizon, and you saw the guy panning into boats that were miles and miles and miles away. I went down there and replicated that. So, and then you've got to believe that the curve math is right. Once because a lot of people, you say that too, and they say, no, the Earth's bigger than that. So once you know in your own heart that math is right, and things that are 10 miles away should be, especially a boat, should be well gone. That's 20 meters, 25 yards. And how many boats are 25 yards high? Only really, really massive ships would be that high. So once you trust that that's right, then you know something's up. So that's what it was for me. I have islands everywhere around me, and it's just so easy to do the tests around here. On a clear day, I can see 30, 40 miles, islands that are 30 and 40 miles away, no worries. That can't happen on a ball.
How about you, James?
Pretty typical to most, I'd say. I was just looking at conspiracies and good and evil, and just happened upon this and thought it was ludicrous. But being a conspiracy guy, you kind of got to be pretty open to stuff. So I was like out of good stuff for stuff that made me go, I was kind of like anemic as a studier at that point. I'd gone through all the blue beam, the aliens, the elite, the Illuminati, Wisehouse, Blavatsky, all the usual suspects. And so I decided to give it a run, and I thought it was ludicrous. And then I think it was missing curvature, Jeranism, the clues, and the what's his name, the guy that used to work for NASA, Matt Boland. And then it hit me. But yeah, pretty typical, I think.
Sweet.
But yeah, that's how it happens. But isn't it? I mean, you go from one, especially when you're first getting into this. There's just so much stuff that you can look at out there. There's just so much stuff you can see.
It really is.
For yourself, and it just piles up and piles up and piles up until in NASA wouldn't fake stuff if they were really doing it, would they?
You wouldn't think.
They wouldn't have to. They wouldn't have to film their ISS things on a blue screen, or they wouldn't have to film it in a pool. They would do it for real if it was real.
Why
We know they're not doing it for real. We know some of them. Well, you can prove that some of the videos are bullshit. So if some of the videos are bullshit, why are they bullshit? They're bullshit because they can't do it for real.
Yeah,
yes, they do.
Not much you can say.
Yes, they
back
do.
to that.
They do look real. Their videos, they do them well. But have a look at the movie Gravity. That is absolutely brilliant CGI technology. Look at Howard Wolowitz in Big Bang Theory. He's floating around something. Wasn't up at the ISS, so where was he floating around? Know what I mean? So they got the technology to make it look like someone's in 0G. They know how to fake it. We know that they fake it. We know that they do TV shows and movies, and that's all it is.
I just don't know why they antagonize everyone. Like, why don't they just do a 360 shot, turn the camera around just once? But there never is, and that leads us to believe that there is no fourth wall because it's a show.
Hey James, I like the one where you got the astronaut talking to the school kids, and he's up on the ISS, and one of the school kids goes, "Oh, where are you going? Where's the space station right now?" I got these friggin' birds in the background going off too, and the kids go, "Where are you right now?" And he walks over to a window. He doesn't take the camera over to the window to show the kids where the ISS is. He just goes over to a window, looks out at himself and goes, "Oh, I'm going over America as we speak." It's just ridiculous.
No, that one's awesome.
The kids would be wanting him to take the bloody camera over there and show him out the window. Nah, kids, you're not getting that.
The Earth is flat.
Yeah.
My favorite still is the Brit, Tim Peake, or I think it's him, where he's doing a little flip in the air and his wire breaks and he falls. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah. There's a fair few of them. And the girl that perms her hair so it's stuck up in the air.
Oh, Miss Medusa, yes.
What? So zero gravity makes your hair just pop straight up in the air and stay there, does it?
I mean, the other thing is, why didn't they show us how it was built? Why was there no footage of it being built?
Because I was still a big fanboy when it was supposedly built, and I was waiting to see it happen. And they're
pissed.
talking about it happening, and then suddenly here we are aboard the ISS, and it's like, wait, what happened? How'd that happen so fast? Oh well, let's go on and go with our, with our space fantasies. When's Star Trek coming on?
The Chinese launched a space station the other day, did they? Did you hear about that one?
Mm-mm.
No, I missed it.
No, I know nothing about it.
I'm surprised they are continuing anything with the embarrassed red face they should have from them not even being able to fake it properly. I'm sure the US was super pissed about their mistakes. Have you seen that? What I'm talking about, Rob? The terrible fakery, like the bubble, and then the pictures were so off that the Chinese pulled off.
Yeah, the stadium lights and the wrist cam with the wrist reflection. Yeah,
and the air bubble.
Yeah, they really didn't have it down at all.
Yeah, I'm surprised. They must have paid a lot of coin to be allowed to actually try a station. It's probably more secure though, right? Because you can film the inside most of the time and have it secured, so makes sense. They're probably forced to do that now forever.
Except when it's time to go outside and do an exciting spacewalk to fix a piece of equipment that should be on the inside of the thing in the first frickin' place.
Oh, no. All the good stuff has to be in the vacuum, otherwise it doesn't work.
Right, with all those exposed wires and conduits and tubings just waiting for micrometeors to hit them, but that doesn't happen, right?
Yep. Let alone these people live, sweat, stink, puke, poo, pee, sorry for all the bad words, but constantly in a hot, stinking box. They can't shower. The body odor must be horrific in there. Have you seen how they're supposed to go to the bathroom?
Yeah,
there's
literally...
it's like a vacuum cleaner tube head.
I've lived with roommates that I was like, my goodness, I know how guys are, and girls are supposed to use that same tube. I don't buy it.
Not even that.
Should tell you it's fake.
Not even that. You got a biracial toilet, so you're gonna have like some Asian guy taking a nasty dump, and some white girl is gonna be sniffing it next. Like the whole system's flawed. That you can't even. It's things we don't even think about, but there's no way that's going on. There's no way there's people not showering for a year and riding an imaginary little bike to keep their muscle mass. Like, it's just a joke. Oh, man.
Sorry, I'm just trying to fill dead air.
No problem. I apologize for being crude.
Hey, Josh. Josh, looks like E is trying to hop on, but he's having trouble with the link. Did you get that?
No, I didn't see that. I guess I
can he's working for him. The one that where you're supposed to click on isn't working, taking him to an empty Hangout.
Weird. Need to clean up my list of Hangouts. I've got a list of them.
Did you just hear what I just said, or did I mute myself after that, or what?
What was that?
Is that a rooster?
No, I said E is trying to jump on, but the Hangout isn't working for him.
Oh, I just posted another link in there.
Yeah, it should work now, hopefully.
Okay.
I'm having trouble. It's the second time I've been kicked off in the middle of the show here. So I don't know what's going on now.
There he is. I knew we'd get it eventually. What's up, E?
What's going on, E?
I don't think he's quite there yet. I think he's close.
You may have to
I'm here.
add
Good evening.
Hexa
There
again.
he is.
Not much, not much. Just got done arguing, or not arguing, but debating with some spinners.
Really?
We need some.
We do need some.
Send them our way.
So I guess I need to do some editing on this page too. Huh?
Do. So what was the gist of what you were debating in the other room earlier? Was it the typical, or how did that go?
Oh, yeah, it was the typical. They were talking about, gravity and the pendulums and the parallax and just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
The lack of parallax?
Did it end up just a yelling match?
No, as a matter of fact, both of the guys, or all three of them that I talked to, were fine with me. I didn't end up yelling or nothing. I will say the first guy I talked to, he got sick and tired of just talking. He was on there for, I guess, a little while before he got to me, and he was just like, "I'm done." So I was like, "Okay." And the next guy that came in, yeah, pretty much that was it. See you later. I'm done. I hear your points, but I ain't gonna argue anywhere. And then the second guy that came in, it was really weird. He said he was in Antarctica and he worked there for a little while. And we, how he could prove that everything was because he, dealt with dealing with the waste disposal and all this, and he flew to the pole. But when I started talking to him about the stars, he verified it for me that the Southern Cross wobbles, and he kept referring to it as, well, it doesn't really wobble, but yeah, it doesn't spin, perfectly. And I was like, well, that's a problem for me. If it's wobbling down there, that means if it's on a central axis. And he was like, oh, no. There's just no way. And I couldn't come to an agreement with him.
it's interesting to have somebody from Antarctica again. They seem pretty rare. I wonder if he was telling the truth.
Well, and that's the other thing. I talked to another guy. Wait a minute, I think that was on here that was telling me about the Southern Cross rising and setting at the 19th parallel or something. I don't know what it was they said they were at, but they're in Australia, and they said they watched it rise and set, and it spun.
That was me, E.
Yeah, so there we go. Okay, well, there's a problem there. That means it's wobbling. I mean, I'm sorry, but it shouldn't be that way. So what latitude are you at, Truth?
Call me Rob. I am at 19, and it's rotating. It's rotating around a fixed point. There's no star there like Polaris, but it's just rotating. It'll be rotating all year round.
Physically, or does it wobble? Like, does it look like it's circling a drain a little bit with a little bit of offset?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'll have to get a camera when I do some proper star trails. But just seems to be in a perfect circle to me, just with the naked eye. Just the way where I see it every day. Doesn't seem to change position.
Well,
it doesn't change position. It just seems to change times that it's in those positions.
Oh, so it doesn't actually come up over a horizon or set. It actually is in a perfect position in the sky. It just rotates, and it's, I guess, just positioning in the sky like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock as far as sitting in space.
Yeah. Well, when I first started watching it was in probably about January or February of this year, and it was straight up and down. So you got the you know what the Southern Cross looks like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you got the two bottom stars. They were nearly right above each other, so they're vertical to each other, and then you got the four above there. Now at say about 7 o'clock at night, middle of summer, they're just above the horizon, rising at about 162 degrees south. Sort of about the southeast sort of mark. And by 5 o'clock in the morning, that would be upside down at about 210 degrees. So it was completely upside down. So it's just rotating, circling around a fixed point. And it doesn't
how
seem
high
to
is that off the horizon?
At the very tallest I see it would be about 45 degrees in the air. 45 degrees, I'd say. That's the absolute highest I see it.
At 19th parallel, it's only at 45. Wow, that's.
Boy, what do you make of that?
Well, like when I lived in Alaska, the pole star Polaris was a lot higher than 45 degrees. Because I was way past that parallel. You're saying you're at 19th parallel. I mean, and I'm not trying to argue with you. I realize that's what you see.
Yeah.
But to me, you would think that star that.
So what it's rotating around. So the point that it's rotating around, the fixed center of it, that it seems would only be about 30 degrees in the air. I'd say, if you want to call that, like a Polaris. Yeah.
Right.
So shouldn't
it be way higher in the air if you only have to go 19 degrees to get to the pole?
Yeah, this is all new to me, so I don't even know a lot of the time what I'm looking at, and I got to visualize what I should be looking at, I suppose. But,
and I'm just saying, on a globe, on a flat, no, that's I don't know. I'm just talking.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's cool though. I like talking to people that actually look at the southern stars because I can't see that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, hard for me to explain, I suppose. That's the best I could probably do, but yeah, it doesn't get high. It doesn't get really high in the sky. It'll be 45, 50 degrees at most. You're looking up. You're definitely looking up at it, but not ridiculous.
Okay, just for reference, though, I'm looking at the Polaris in my sky, and it is. Let's see here. It is about 45 degrees, and I'm sitting at the 40th parallel. So, in relation to where you're sitting on there, it would, in my mind, I'm just saying you would think that it should be a lot higher, but it's not, and I just have to wonder about that. So.
I would have thought it as you got lower, down to 50 and 60, it'd be more up towards the 70 and 80 degrees if you're on a globe.
The Southern Celestial Cross and the North Pole are basically like looking at the ceiling, while other stars, such as the seasonal stars, are like looking at the walls. So that's why you can see from the Northern Hemisphere the Polaris, and likewise with the Southern Hemisphere. And that's why also the star trails in the equator are doing arcs. So it pretty much proves that we're on some kind of a spherical thing. If you want to be geocentric about it, that's fine. But really, flat Earth has been intensely disproven.
So Tim, you're the one who keeps on smashing Jaren's videos, aren't you? I see your name.
No. I
on
used
his
to.
comments. Yeah.
I used to a long time ago, but actually, Jaren and I just talked like within a week ago for about a couple hours. So no, me and him are cool. But Jeff Stewart does have a fake Tim Osmond account that he goes and comments and shit with. And there's Nathan Oakley also has a Tim Osmond account that it's fake that he goes and comments and shit too. So
That's good. Good to have you here anyway.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I guess I got into Flat Earth around a year and a half ago or so, and kind of fell into it a little bit. And about a month into it, I kind of started to doubt myself and really started to do a lot more research into the globe, and kind of came under the realization that there's a lot more empirical evidence for the globe than there is and will ever be for a flat Earth. So basically, I called up Mark Sargent about a year ago and told him my concerns with the whole movement and such, and did a little bit of trolling with a lot of the top brass, if you want to call them that, Patricia Steer and all those kinds of people at the very beginning. But that was mostly because they were deleting comments and hiding me because I was trying to tell them why they were wrong, basically. So they've created quite the echo chamber, and a lot of smart people kind of get entrapped in the web, and it's impossible to prove something that is logically fallacious to begin with, and that is flat Earth.
Do you remember at what point it was along that experience where you kind of said to yourself, okay, I'm wrong, and this is why, here's the empirical proofs?
Yeah, I was very conspiratorial minded for a long time, ever since kind of 9/11, 2003ish and stuff. So I started to notice that I was kind of picking up on basically things a little too quickly that probably don't have enough evidence to be going around touting as true to people you love and whatever. So actually, in the long run, it's taught me a lot about myself and a lot about kind of a conspiratorial minded person and the routes that they can go down. And
Tim Osmond.
yes, sir. What up? So I don't know what it was, but I talked with my parents for a little bit, not really, just kind of throwing it out there. Talk with like my ex-girlfriend, and then I don't know what happened, but there was a point where I was just like, man, I really need to look into this because this is like really, really fringe and it's kind of silly. And basically, star trails, how the moon is differently oriented from northern to southern hemisphere, and a lot of other things that flat Earth cannot explain, such as the sun having to go faster as it goes in its more southern traverse down. So none of it really made sense. It did at the beginning because it was kind of all put together, all pretty in this nice little package for us all. And I think I think it was a pitfall for a lot of people. But I mean, like I said, I learned a lot about myself, so I am kind of happy it happened.
I hear what
That's
you're
awesome.
saying.
So along with the stars, what other proofs? We find it hard to find proofs. So what are your best proofs for a globe?
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to say ships over the curvature or the horizon because that's kind of a silly one. Even nowadays, even here in the heliocentric, people say that. So
That's as good
really,
as a proof of a flat in my eyes.
yeah, I don't know because I've talked to all of them, talked to Nathan, Antonio, all these people, and they all have different, it's perspective or it's reflection or it's the, different atmospheric conditions that make it, look like it's a globe or whatever. I don't know. But basically, the Chicago skyline, how we were fed that, it was a flat Earth, that picture of it. I went back a long time ago, actually watched the whole, it only has like 100 views maybe right now, the whole time lapse of it. And it actually does grow and kind of contort and wave a little bit through that time lapse. So there are also, I mean, on a regular day, you see it below the curvature. So there's also Toronto skyline that you can see from 60 miles or whatever. I mean, these things are below curvature. So when you do say this to a flat earther, they're going to have the reflections or the atmospheric conditions and stuff to confirm their confirmation bias to themselves. So either way, I mean, that really does point to me towards a globe Earth, mostly with the star trails working how they do, how the moon is one way in northern and, you know, in the southern. And there are more, but I just have found that there is more empirical evidence that the Earth is a globe. Maybe it is geocentric, maybe space is all fake and shit like that. But I've pretty much disproved the flat Earth in my head indefinitely, because it just
See, I've got islands off the coast where I live,
Yeah.
and those islands don't change shape at all ever. No matter, I live in a really, really humid part of the world, and whether it's winter where it's hardly any humidity, whether it's middle of summer where there's heaps of humidity, those islands that I could see are exactly the same shape. Sometimes you can see them in full perfectly after it's rained, or sometimes they are just, you can vaguely see them because of the dust in the air, but they're always exactly the same shape, exactly the same height. They don't change.
Well, if you look up,
they're about 30 miles away, some of these islands, and
yeah,
so half of them should be gone. They don't change shape. I can move towards
well, this
them.
is part of the problem with the whole curvature equation as well, because that curvature equation changes drastically as the perspective of the person or the view point goes upwards. So if we're going to do an 8 inches per mile squared and say this is supposed to be this much amount, then you should be putting your head literally on the ground and seeing how far you can see, because that's the equation that you're actually doing. So there's a lot of kind of logical fallacies and just kind of misrepresentations all throughout the flat Earth.
Yeah, I know how it works. So that's what that's the one thing that I was making sure that I knew all about. It was, and I know that a 6 foot man, you take 3 miles to the horizon. You know, you can see further than 3 miles to the horizon if you're 6 foot.
Absolutely.
I can see 10, 12 miles easily to the horizon. So there's one proof right there that the Earth calculators.
Well, I guess that whole thing is, I don't know. I mean, I can see mountains, you know, the Rocky Mountains right here from probably 20 or more miles away. I mean, that whole horizon only 3 mile thing, I don't really understand what that means. Maybe if you're on the beach, like laying down or something, I don't know. I've heard it though, for sure.
I've had my telescope 2 feet off the water, and I've seen small fishing boats from 7 miles away. The whole, from top to bottom, no worries at all. And I've seen ships a lot further out than that, but that was probably the very, very windy and very, very wavy here sometimes. So that's why you need to get your line of sight up a little bit higher to get over the top of that. But yes, you always factor in how high you are. But still, even at 6 feet up, an island that is 25 to 30 miles away, especially the islands that are around here, a lot of them are very, very small islands, clearly see them from top to bottom. And for me, that's impossible.
So you see the beach from 2 foot off the shore?
I can see the beach. Not when I'm 2 feet off, because the waves get in the way. All you need is a 3 foot wave in between you, and that will cut off a lot of what you're seeing. That's why you need to get above the waves in between you. You need to get well above them to give you, and you must factor it in. There's no getting around that. I mean, you can't use the ground level math if you're 10, 20 feet above the water. That's for sure. Yeah, but sometimes you need to get that high to get above the real choppy waves, because they will block out a lot of your view.
I think really any kind of land curvature test is not really the way to go. And I understand you're using the ocean and the beach. That is the way to go, because obviously land is protruded above sea level, and obviously it has topography. The Earth has topography. So if I was going to the Rocky Mountains, I shouldn't be expecting 8 inches per mile squared, going downward. Like I would have a drastically more than that. So doing it on land, I don't see how that's gonna ever prove anything. But yeah, I mean, if you're seeing, I don't really understand how to explain that truthfully. How you're seeing that? Maybe the Earth is bigger than what they're saying, but I just don't think
Well,
that I would.
I've thought about the same thing myself. Maybe
Yeah.
we're way more than what we really are. But then you've got to there's a lot of factors that.
Yeah, there's a lot of implications if the Earth is bigger, for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that'd change everything as well if we're way bigger than what we think as well. But no, I have thought about that, but that's where I can't get past. I don't know about everybody else, but that's the bit I can't get past, how far you can see. And sometimes it is a long way. That's what I notice. I notice after it's rained here, it is. I can see a long way after it's rained. Long way.
Way longer than it should be on.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, you can see obviously stars that are trillions of miles away. You can see the ISS that is 100 miles away.
Well, just on that, just on that one. The ISS, and we were talking about it in a Hangout yesterday. The ISS for me went over. It was about 2 weeks ago now, and I've got it on the tracker. And it goes over. It was only about 10 or 15 degrees up, so it was east of me. So I'm looking over the ocean, and I could see it, clearly see it. And my iPhone was telling me that it was 1,100 miles away just before it went out of view. They say that we are getting reflection off the solar panels, but how would you be able to see it the whole way? Because you know that the sun would have to shine on the ISS and then to me.
Yes.
It wouldn't be able to have a reflection off that and me be able to see it the whole
Well, this is precisely why you can't actually see it in the middle of the night, wherever you're going to view it. It's always going to be before night and basically before morning. So because of its altitude and how big the sun is, it does reflect, but yeah, it doesn't reflect.
Just think about those distances as well. They say it's the size of a football field. I think it might be just a bit smaller than a football field.
Yeah, 100 yards, football field. Yeah.
Yeah. Get a football field and walk away 5 miles and see how big it is compared to your view. And now just put that in perspective of 1,000 or 1,100 miles away.
It's understandable. It's understandable, but I mean, in an airplane, could you see that football field if it was lit up? Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's a problem with that because not only do you have the light that's reflecting to you, per se, the person that's looking at the tracker, looking at the ISS, but everybody along all the different angles across the planet can see all of this reflection at once. It doesn't work that way. And that's how it works. If it's going across it, they're not like, oh, those in California, you'll be able to see it. But those in like Montana, nope, you're not going to see a reflection tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be. I mean, obviously you can't see it during the daytime. So I mean, there's times that you can see it. I mean, it's obvious there is something up there. I mean, there are people that have videos of it that clearly you can see solar panels and you can see what looks to be the ISS. So there's got to be something, and obviously how fast it's traveling across our sky. I mean, an airplane at 30,000 feet or 40,000 feet is looking pretty slow, and mostly compared to the ISS going by, and it's obviously much further away. So it's going fast.
I mean, I understand what you're saying.
What we're trying to say,
30 or 40,000 feet is looking pretty invisible.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about a football field lighting up, and we're talking about little lights on an airplane lighting up. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole ISS should be lit up by the sun.
You can see an aeroplane during the day at 6 or 7 miles, and it's a little tiny speck when it's way up there, isn't it? Especially in this international flight, you're probably at 40,000 feet. They're just a little speck, and they're probably 30 yards by 30 yards or 40 yards. So they're half the size of a football field, a plane, maybe a bit less. And they're a lot closer. They're a lot closer. And that's something that we can't get past. See, the ISS goes over. I'm sitting here, I see it. How could someone 200 kilometers, same reflection, how can that reflection be reflecting to everybody? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure that it is, though. I mean,
Yes,
we can only see a portion of the sky as opposed to the whole world. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, but like, okay, for example, they had an anomaly. They say it was a test rocket that the government lit off here in California, and people saw it in Nevada, in Arizona, California, and parts of Baja, Mexico. And the funny thing is that this wasn't even, they weren't even talking about it being up at 200 and something miles and up in the atmosphere. It was like, 70,000 feet and everything when it was traveling across, and everybody saw it. So what we're trying to get at as far as the whole reflection is that if you have something that's up at 230 miles up and it's coming across, and you're saying you can track it and look at this, and people in California and people in Montana and people in Illinois and people in Florida can all see it as it crosses across the United States. And it's not like they say, okay, today, I already said that, I'm sorry. I'm just saying not everybody can see the same angle of reflection across all the different angles. It's like a viewable area of 120 degrees. We're not talking about 5-degree difference. It's an immense amount of difference in angles that everybody sees this huge bright light that soars across the sky.
No, exactly. And
yeah, but it brings up questions, because if it does go around the Earth in 93 minutes, and that could be proved pretty easily just with people doing observations all across the world, then and it's not that high up, then we have to understand, or we have to pretty much break the rules of physics that we understand here on Earth for something to go that fast and be that low. So then we'd have to come up with an antithesis of what they're telling us, which could make sense, but maybe we're making arguments from incredulity. Maybe not, who knows? But I'm just saying, we're probably not qualified to be making these assessments, but I don't know.
I am totally qualified to make these assessments. I'm a person that walks on this planet that is looking around at the life that's going on around me. I should be able to assess anything that's going on and not have somebody tell me
absolutely
that I
and you do, but it
credentials
doesn't mean that you're
to
going to
be able to find
perceive
out
it in
these
the correct
things.
way, just from your
Oh,
observations.
no, for sure. No, I'm not saying I'm always right. That's for sure. I'll be the first one to say that I'm definitely wrong sometimes.
these are the things that don't make sense to everyone that looks really, really closely at it. When you explain these things to people, they usually go, yeah, that doesn't sound right. But then they just move on with their life. Some of us look closely into it and have a bit more to think about it. I think that's where we're at.
Yeah. I just think it's a rabbit hole of logical fallacies and things that are arguments from incredulity, things that we're trying to prove that we have basically no knowledge of or anything of. We have no instruments. We have no rockets that we can go and see curvature. We have nothing that we could really do to prove this situation, really.
I want to bring something up, Tim. I told them a story the other night about the first couple nights that I started viewing videos and coming on to Hangouts and listening. And I was just, I was not worried, but it was on my mind a lot. It was hard to sleep because I was figuring out that I was on a flat Earth. And I talked to you. You were the person that made it to where I went to bed one night, like the second night, and I was like, oh, thank God it's round again. You got me thinking it was round again for one night. Nice. I slept so good. I really did. But I woke up the next morning, I was like, God damn it. It's fucking flat. But I just want to thank you for that one night.
Nice. Nice. I remember talking to you. How long ago was that, you think?
I believe it was like July 15th or something like that.
Nice. That's funny, dude. Yeah, it's that seed of doubt that I had that really was very strong with me. And then I kind of like took myself out of the situation. And at the time, the situation was people like Eric Dubay and these characters like Mark Sargent and stuff that came on the scene and don't have jobs, basically put in 40 plus hours a week on flat earth. Like, to me as a truther before, I'd be like, those people are fucking shills, excuse my language, if that's a problem. But I you know, like there was definitely some shill behavior going on with, you know, Patricia Steer making all these shows and stuff like that. I felt so that kind of reinforced that I think that there's some kind of a psyop, because you look at all the searches, the people that are actually searching flat Earth, and it's like the Five Eyes. It's like the United States, Australia. That's basically the only people, and it started to spread a little bit to people in other countries, but it felt like a psyop to me. It really did.
I have to say there's certain, I guess, groups of people that I've seen that definitely make it seem that way. Because I'll be honest with you, every once in a while I'm at work and I'll have my iPod that I can listen to the broadcasts of whatever the Hangouts are. And sometimes I've listened to somebody all night, you know, went to sleep, and they're still on there in the morning. And then I go to work and I'm like, wait a minute, this person's been on here for like 72 hours straight. How the hell are they doing this?
How the hell and why the hell? You know? It's like, wow.
Well, no. To me, why doesn't? I mean, I can go on, and especially about, you know, this type of stuff, flat Earth or any type of just different subjects. I could talk forever as long as I could stay awake, but I just don't understand how they're doing it. I mean, how can they do that for that amount of time and not just be hallucinating?
I've even seen the heliocentrists on like Flat Earth Debates, some of those live shows. I literally like will check in throughout the day. I'll check in at night, check in the morning, and I'll be like, this person has been in here literally for days, like literally.
Hey,
what do
Tim,
you
if I find out it's a globe, if I find out this place is a globe, I don't get on one of these hangouts and talk about the Earth being flat and try and debunk it with people. I just get on with my life. So I don't know. I don't know how you. What drives you to get on here? And
that's a good question, and I think that it goes for a lot of these people, because I did a live hangout almost over a year ago, Flat Earth and Other Psyop Potatoes, and kind of exposed Eric Dubay and some of these people. But basically, I talked to this guy named I'm a Rocket Man. I don't know if you guys have ever seen him, but he works for NASA.
He says he does.
Yeah, I believe he does. He knows a lot, dude. But we talked privately, and I could tell he's like me. Like there's something weird about this, where there are a lot of these Negatorex or Gem Pandas, these people that come in and spend a lot of time talking to flat earthers about the globe, because there's some kind of a, like, it's almost like watching a train wreck where you're wanting to like look away but you can't. And it's not like something to prove for me. It's more like I've actually helped people where they've like private messaged me and commented me and stuff like that, where they're like, hey, thanks a lot, like you have no idea, you helped me, my friend, my sister get out of this or whatever. So yeah, there's been quite a few people that were like, thank you for actually helping me out of this shit. So I guess that's part of the reason.
You want to comment on that,
Hat? I can say you helped me for one night. I will say 12 hours of good sleep.
Nice. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you 100% that it's the heliocentric model, but I just think that empirically it works a lot better than anything else that I've ever seen.
Well, empirical means what, right? Empirical means evidence.
Empirical means basically what you can see, like as evidence. Yeah.
Yeah. So the empirical evidence of a flat horizon you throw out for the empirical evidence of what?
Well, a flat horizon, that's kind of a logical fallacy, really, because it should be flat. It's a very, very big globe if it is a globe.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
very
So
big.
what's your empirical evidence that it's that big?
What's my empirical evidence? I've actually just drove from San Diego to Denver, and it took me 19 hours. That's a very small portion, not only of the United States. It's about half the United States,
What does
actually.
driving 19 hours have to do with it being curved or flat?
Yeah, you just asked me about the size of the Earth, so I'm in relativity
what is the
to
empirical
my.
evidence you have for a globe?
Oh, I've already said it.
What is it?
Star trails definitely disprove the flat Earth model.
Not if we're in the center of the universe and we're not moving.
Well, yeah, but it would have to be a ball.
No, it would have to be flat.
No, you can have a geocentric ball, dude. It makes
No, it'd have to be, according to what we see, it's either that the Earth is a globe and the sky is flat, or the sky is a dome and the Earth is flat. So what is the empirical evidence you have to believe that it's a globe under a flat sky? If we're the center of the universe and we're not moving.
What's a flat sky? I don't really understand that.
Well, it can't be both flat. You look out there.
I'm not saying anything's flat.
The horizon looks flat and the sky has like a dome to it. Is that not right?
The sky has a dome to it, I guess, if you perceive it that way, sure.
You don't perceive it that way, though?
No.
So what is your empirical evidence of a globe?
Star trails, and the moon being one way in the northern hemisphere and the other way in the southern hemisphere.
What do you think about the moon?
If the moon's translucent, if we're the center of the universe and we're not moving and the moon's translucent, then you still don't have any empirical evidence of globe.
You're saying ifs. If the moon is translucent, well, it's not. So.
Well, this is just an example. This isn't empirical evidence of anything. It's empirical evidence of one or the other. And you're just saying it's this one. That's not really empirical evidence, is it?
You can go and empirically see the moon change completely from the northern and southern hemisphere yourself.
Yeah, and that's perfectly explainable in the flat Earth model.
No, it's not.
What's the explanation in the globe model?
That we're on a globe.
It is explainable. It is explainable if the moon's translucent. And we can.
I think you're on like level 1 of flat Earth, dude.
Let's keep going and see how high we go. If you can see stars through the moon, is that empirical evidence?
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah. I think I've only seen that one time. That would be Dave J.
You only need to see it once, brother.
He showed a video of it.
I was going to say, how many times do you need to see something? 2?
This conversation got wrapped up pretty quick then, huh?
No, I mean, it doesn't prove anything either way.
Sure it does. It proves the moon's not a solid object.
Because I saw one guy's video,
Because you
I
saw a
throw
star through
at
the moon.
everything that I've ever known.
Well, I mean, you would go out and look and see stars.
I've never
moon,
seen
like
that
the rest of
myself.
us have.
No,
I have.
Countries
have you guys seen the star? Yeah,
with
yeah.
the stars and the moon.
What is it? Is it Israeli?
Pakistani flag.
Yeah, it's the crescent moon with the star. Yeah.
The Muslim sign, the Quran's also a flat Earth book. So that's the reason why you only see in the countries you do, is because it's being released only to the countries that aren't Arab and are in basically the, American globe model. The Zionist agenda has certain reaches, and ours is getting this. The Arabs are also unleashing the flat Earth model. They're doing it online. They're doing it in Arabic, which we don't speak, on their internet. And they're talking about the Quran and Allah and Jesus coming back to fight for Allah because the Earth is flat, and the Quran's a flat Earth book. So it's been released all over the world.
A star that you see through it, it's a planet, a wandering star that they say you see. And I haven't actually guaranteed that I've seen it through the moon, but it's been either on the crest of it or inside of it. I mean, I've tried to see this a lot of times, but the closest I can get is to the rim.
Yeah.
I saw it a couple months ago. Then my buddy the other day was looking up the moon and goes, "Oh my goodness, those clouds are behind the moon." So we see that
Oh,
all the
that's
time.
silly. That's silly, dude.
It's not silly. He just saw it on his own. He's not even a flat earther.
Nah, that's
He
silly.
just saw it. So there's people seeing this stuff all over the place.
I saw that Russian vids video.
This is what you would call empirical
It's the
evidence.
exact same thing. As he said that I mean, that is just so silly, dude. That you.
Well,
would
if you're not going to be intellectually honest in the conversation, Tim.
No,
Osmond,
you think that clouds could be behind the moon?
it's what people see.
How giant of a cloud do you think that it would have to be behind the moon, and you would see it as if it was a regular cloud?
Doesn't really interest me.
Well, yeah. I mean, you want to make a bunch of accusations with absolutely no evidence to back them up.
What did I accuse?
Hey,
Do you
Tim,
feel like
I'll
you're being
ask you
accused?
one more. Hang on, Hack.
Go ahead.
The moon. Tim, have you seen the experiments with the moon casting a cold light?
Yes, absolutely. I have. And
What do
those,
you think about that?
even flat earthers now, I just talked to Jainism and all of them about this. This is absolute nonsense. Even they will say that it's nonsense because the tests that were done not only didn't have any kind of control, it didn't have a proper experiment to begin with. So these are very silly tests that didn't come up with any results. I think Mark Sargent did it. Jainism did it. Nobody. JLB did it. John Laban. Nobody got the results that they're saying they get. So.
Well, one of the guys in our Iron Realm Media group did the same experiment. I think he's going to do a video about it. He got a difference of about 5 degrees. I'm not sure what his controls.
See, the problem is that they're putting stuff on the ground, which the ground has heat. They're putting stuff in shadows, there's all these different variables. There's all these different variables that they're not taking into effect.
It's called accounted for. They're all accounted for. Yes, they are. It's a very simple, perfect scientific experiment. All things being equal, you have two thermometers that are identical, and they're giving you the same.
You're getting $15 eBay.
It doesn't matter what they are. They're the same.
Those are heat signature. They're not supposed to be taking temperatures like that. They're supposed to be taking. No, they're supposed to be taking temperatures of like fires.
In the method and design of the study, the control is inherent, and the two thermometers are identical.
That's not the control. That's not how it works, dude.
That's exactly how it works.
Wait a minute. If you have two thermometers sitting there and one shows 70 degrees and one shows 75 degrees, you're telling me that it's the thermometers that are off?
And then you flip them and they do the same thing.
No. See, this is what I'm trying to say is that you're putting things on the ground. You're putting things in shadows. There's wind. There's all these different variables that none of them are being taken into account. It's not a correct scientific at all. It's not at all. I mean,
it is.
Well, to you, it is. I understand.
No, it is the science.
No, it's not.
You're just saying it's not because you have an agenda, but it is the science.
What is my agenda?
I don't know what your agenda is, but it's boring.
It's boring to you because you're a flat earther and you're under this belief of the flat earth, dude. I don't care about your confirmation bias. I'm here to talk about actual stuff, like actual truth, not just like I like the feeling that flat earth gives me, so I'm just gonna say all this nonsense because I heard Eric Dubé say it.
If you just accept it and try to look at any of this stuff with an intellectually
honest mind, I don't just accept nonsense.
You might get lit up like fire, like we did.
I don't accept nonsense. I actually corrected.
Neither do we. That's how we got.
I corrected their scientific bullshit.
That's why
by actually making an experiment that would actually work.
That's why you and I are having a conversation because we don't accept nonsense, and you're bringing nonsense.
You believe we went to the moon?
I don't know. I wasn't alive back then, so I don't know.
So based on what's presented, do you believe he went to the moon? Based on what they've presented as being proof of having gone?
Well, let me tell you this. I've definitely seen, it's a funny thing happened to the way to the moon. I've seen all these moon conspiracies. I've seen all of them. So what I did notice when I actually went back and watched NASA actual videos that are uncut and stuff is that there's a lot of video that I would then have to explain as being fake as well. And I can't really see that as happening in the time in the 60s And I mean, so I don't know. I don't know.
They just used scissors in the 60s.
It looks absolutely ridiculous, though. I mean, truthfully, like the moon looks like it's the size of Texas. I mean, the curvature on the moon, you flat earthers would not be talking about curvature if we were on the moon that they were on, because literally we would all be about 10 feet away from each other. I mean, that thing was ridiculous. So I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, now how can you say you don't know if what you're saying there is trying to convince us? Well, not convince us, but you're saying, yeah, there's something definitely wrong with what they showed us. Why would you say I don't know? Why wouldn't you say, yeah, that's
Because I'm not
definitely
going to
not
tell you
fake?
something that I don't know as complete fact. That's kind of where we got in this whole conundrum to begin
Oh,
with
no, I see
people
that. I
coming out
don't
and
doubt
saying,
it.
"Oh, it's definitely flat. It's definitely flat. It's definitely flat," without actual proof or evidence of it. And then a lot of people kind of clinged on to it. So I don't want to say either way, but
Did you?
I will say that it does look fishy, just like the ISS shit, just like some of the old videos that I've caught that are just total fake pasted raster based images on top of
Cool.
what's supposed to be video.
Hmm.
So I understand. I work in audio video. I used to, at least. So I understand that
As
That's all I want to hear.
there's definitely some fucking fakery going on, dude.
as
Something.
as Neil Armstrong was about to land on the moon, he said he was 1,100 feet west of a crater. How could he have been west of anything on the moon?
Well, there's got to be directions, I suppose, on the moon.
Based on what?
Wouldn't be left or right. It'd have to be north or south. North or south is an Earth term.
I think you would almost have to basically do it from the orientation from what you see from the Earth, obviously, because it is tidally locked. So there's the north
The moon
face,
rotates. The
which is
moon
the top.
rotates as it goes through the sky. So where's your? So you're saying that there would, and there's only one face that shows that
Yeah.
you all the time. So you'd have.
So obviously the
So you're
north
saying
would be the top.
NASA decided this spot is north, and is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know either way. I don't know. I mean, directions would be the same on a globe moon, would it not be?
No, it'd be an XYZ axis
They're polar.
with a
We got the north and
spatial.
south poles.
Yeah, but the moon has north and south poles.
Does it move a compass? They're just arbitrary points. I think. I don't think that
Yeah, they would be
they don't
exactly.
move a compass. You
No.
wouldn't be able to get a compass on the moon and it points north or south.
Well, I don't know that, but because obviously they say that it's the moon was created from the Earth, they think, from some kind of explosion or whatever, asteroid. So obviously it should have some of the same metals and composition of Earth. So maybe it does, but I have no idea either way. But yeah, it would be an arbitrary point. You'd say this is north, this is south, whatever. So answer being I don't know. I don't know. I can't really say either way. It seems fake though. So extrapolate what you want from that.
So I wasn't here a few minutes ago, but do you believe the Earth spins?
That's kind of where it gets me, is that I think I can disprove, obviously, flat Earth to myself. I can't really prove if we are a geocentric ball Earth or everything, or we're spinning. So to answer the question, I don't know. I don't know. There's really not many tests that I don't even think the layman could do to prove it either way, really.
Okay, so inconclusive. Second question, if you don't mind. Does water stick to the globe?
Yeah, I definitely believe that water would stick to the globe in the way that is prescribed to us. Water retention and different things, waves, a water droplet, water in free fall. It seems to definitely bend, definitely does curve, and a lot of times it forms a globe or a little ball of water. So I could see it doing that. I mean, you
And
could
that
take the
could-
vomit comet and have a globe of water flying next to you. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you could get it
No, you
spinning,
can't.
you can't?
Nope.
Not in the vomit comet where you're basically weightless for, what, 9 or a couple minutes or a
Nope.
minute or whatever?
Go
Because
go
you
ahead,
spin
E.
the
Your answer.
centrifugal force. If you spin that ball, even in free fall, will throw the water off of it. Surface tension
Oh,
will
yeah,
hold it
spin.
on.
Okay. Spin, I don't know about that. Yeah. But, yeah, you could definitely have okay. I thought you were saying that you couldn't have a globe of water in that.
So with surface tension, then, as long as the water is relatively still, as long as it's not moving, then we can keep it into a perfect sphere.
Well, that's pretty technical though, because obviously all molecules are moving unless they're at 0 Kelvin. So technically, it is always moving.
But with
But
all the molecules spinning in a uniform direction.
I don't know if it's uniform on that level. But I don't know, man. The whole spinning ball water thing has always been kind of a cop out almost to me, because the flat and level aren't exactly the same word. So yeah, water does level. Doesn't mean that water is flat and the earth is flat. It means that basically the water molecules perpendicular or parallel to the ground are flat, but everything else than that is curved.
See, I don't take it that way. I disagree with that one because in my mind, if you can't replicate it on the Earth now in a smaller scale, why should we believe that it should on a bigger scale?
That's understandable. It's understandable, but at the same time, you can't really replicate something that can't be. I mean, we would be the only way to replicate it, I guess you could say, would be to try to do it in space, if space is real. Because you're under the effects of the gravity or whatever you want to call it on Earth, so you can't really replicate it exactly because it's not in its exact condition that the Earth is in. You know what I'm saying?
But that's not the only thing that people
Right.
say that they claim that they can replicate, and it's like the atmosphere. The atmosphere can't be replicated. You can't have a vacuum or a negative atmosphere with an atmosphere there without the vacuum sucking that atmosphere or blowing into that vacuum.
It does a
Not
little
without
bit.
a membrane.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
that's why we have trees and that's why we breathe and everything, because it does somewhat replenish. But yeah, some of it does get sucked up into space, our atmosphere.
Well, then what controls it?
What holds it is gravity. Yay!
So that weak force of
Oh,
gravity overcomes
gravity.
the vacuum
That's
of
right.
infinite space.
Earth is flat.
We're talking about miles. So as you go up further and further, there's going to be less particles. So when they're saying, oh, how can a 3,000 degree how can a satellite withstand these temperatures? Well, there's only one molecule per couple meters that is excited to that temperature. So
Unless you're a satellite in there, though.
Exactly, those
are
molecules
much
in that
closer.
satellite.
yeah, but there's nothing. It would actually feel pretty cold to our skin up there. And yes, they are saying that it's 2,000 degrees or whatever. It would feel cold to our skin because that's just how they quantify it. It's
Just an
temperature.
arbitrary number. I mean, how could they come up with a number if they know that the molecules aren't close enough together to transfer the heat to make it that hot? How could they record that temperature?
I have no idea how they record that temperature. Absolutely no idea.
They're great.
Yeah,
Because
it's probably
You
a
want to
Google
know how they
search
say
away.
they do it? They say they scoop up the atmosphere up there and they measure what's in it, and the vibrations or the movement of it is how much the temperature is that they're recorded. Because you
I
can't
could see
take
that.
what they're saying is you can't take a thermometer and stick it out the window because it would freeze in the shade and would melt in the sun.
Hey Tim, you do admit that NASA do fake videos and they do fake stuff, don't you?
I think
Yeah.
I think that there's times where they put like a graphic, like say they're showing like Jupiter or whatever. They'll put like a graphic on top of that of the actual satellite. It's not really supposed to be real. Obviously, somebody, there's not another satellite following it so that you can get that shot or whatever. But
I believe the inside assessors.
there are sometimes
real.
sometimes they try to pass off fake shit as real. In my opinion, there are definitely like some GIF looking images that they were like saying that it's a spaceship and saying a bunch. I mean, I'm like, no, dude, that's not reality. So.
When we on the moon, we had the famous Earthrise video. You know that is impossible on the moon. You cannot see the Earth rise from the moon. Yeah, you know that, don't
you? Yeah, you should. Yeah, because it's a elliptical orbit, but it's also not like it's orbiting across our equator, so it's actually orbiting.
It's impossible, man.
I've never thought about that. That's true. It can't rise because the way it doesn't spin, it's in a tidal lock.
It's absolutely impossible.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to go back.
No matter if it's tidally locked, though, if it's not on an orbit of the equator, then it still could technically, because really the face that we see that is tidally locked is only when is illuminated by the sun, obviously, and not being covered by the earth or whatever.
Yeah, but even we can look up at the moon and see that it's not spinning up there. It's locked. It's one revolution per month as it goes around the Earth. So how could they possibly? They were up there for how long? How many months were they up there to see that thing spin and come up? Or days were they up there? I think they were only there for a matter of 8 or 9 hours, or maybe 12 hours.
Maybe a little more, give or take.
Yeah, I just don't see how they saw that spinning if it's in a tidal lock, because you wouldn't see it. God, I never thought of that. Who brought that up? Who was that? Was that Truth or Rob?
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
It is kind of interesting to see how the orbit of the moon actually looks. Because it will give you an idea of, a long time ago in Flat Earth, they're like, well, how can you see the moon in the sky at the same time as the sun? They're thinking like three, basketballs are lined up, perfectly, and there's this light like shadowing them or something. Like the elliptical orbit of it is kind of like an egg shape almost, but also it's not, like I said, on the equator, so it's not like, you have to actually think about it and actually visually look at it to understand that it's not going to perform how you would think just thinking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Damn them celestial bodies. They never perform how you think, do they?
Yeah. Talking about the moon, man. The moon was freaking huge over here in Denver tonight, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's not even the full moon. It's amazing.
Yeah, looks like it. Supposedly it was like a harvest moon, a blood moon, and something else last night.
An eclipse.
Thailand.
Yeah, it's a harvest moon, I think.
Yeah.
It was pretty big.
My buddy, Mr. Bukaki Pies, he has a nice camera and telescope, and he's got video of the ISS, really pretty good video. And he took last night's harvest moon. Is fucking looks amazing. But he's also got the Southern Celestial Cross that is a huge thorn in the sides of flat earthers. The star trails are the biggest question for flat earthers, or they should be, because visually it's impossible to make a model that will work with what we see. It is.
No, it works perfectly when you put the Earth in the center of the universe and make it stationary.
I don't think you understand how the world actually works, though, dude.
not to be rude or anything, but I don't think, I think when you say something so generalized and so simplistic and it works for you, I don't think it should work for other people, because it's just that. It's simple and it's nonsense.
Hey, I got to go, Tim. Very brave of you coming on here with all of us. So I got to go. Catch you later.
Good talking to you, man. Take care.
Later, Rob.
And really, one of the biggest disproofs, like I said, is the star trails. Like, if you, it doesn't matter what flat Earth map that you put. For people just say South America, Australia, and anybody in the southern continents, if they're looking south on the tip, they can see the southern celestial cross, and it's spinning, and it's spinning a different way than the northern hemisphere, and the northern hemisphere does the same thing.
It's not spinning a different way of the northern hemisphere. I've talked to many people about this, even Rob that just left. The stars rise on the east and set on the west. It's spinning the same way. That people are just looking the wrong way.
Rising and setting. Stars are rising and setting.
Yes, the stars will rise in the east and set in the west, no matter where you are as far as the southern hemisphere or the northern hemisphere. It's
hey, dude, this is an absolute known fact. Even from flat earthers nowadays, it's a known fact that they go two different ways. You can look at hundreds of videos of star trails. You can look at equator. You can look at northern and southern hemispheres, and you'll see the exact same thing, dude.
He's saying they move. He's saying they just move differently. Listen.
One is clockwise, one is counterclockwise. So I think it's counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere, and it's clockwise in the southern. And it's just like the moon, how we can see it one way, and it's the opposite way in the southern hemisphere, just like it would be on a globe.
There's a problem. There's a problem with that, because you're talking about two different directions of view. So if I'm standing in the northern hemisphere and I'm looking north to the Polaris, and I look at my star pattern, that's your star trail going over. The stars come up on the east and set in the west. That's the way that it goes. If you go down on the southern hemisphere, they do the exact same thing, but people are turning around and looking at the southern cross going, oh, they spin completely. They spin in a counterclockwise way, when that's not true. If they look north, the stars still come up in the east.
Dude, if you go into a room and you look at the ceiling, it doesn't matter which way you're turning. I mean, you're looking at the ceiling.
Sure,
like
yes, it does.
No, it does, because it's you're either spinning one way or the other.
The way you're describing it. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hal.
I mean, if you go to the equator and you look up and do a time trail, and they're both going the same direction, then they're both going the same direction.
Right. That's simple.
I don't know. What?
Oh, that one's too complex. Okay.
No, you said something about they're going the same, and then they're going the same. So what?
Let me ask you this: Are you suggesting that the northern hemisphere is spinning the opposite way of the southern hemisphere, or just the celestial?
That's a tricky question. That's a good question, but it's tricky because yes and no. Obviously, we're spinning one way, yes. But if on a perspective basis, I'm on, say, the top of the ball and you're on the bottom of the ball, then no, it is different. Yes.
Wow, man. You should, I shouldn't say you should. The people I've spoken with in the videos I've looked at of the way stars go, and that they put the directions of everything as their time lapse go across, it truly is what I just said. People are looking the opposite direction and saying, oh my God, the stars are completely different, because they're looking two totally different directions, 180 degrees from each other, saying, well, of course they're spinning opposite. But who was that? Hacksaw said, if you're standing on the equator and you look east, it doesn't matter if you looked east 10 degrees to the south or east 10 degrees to the north, the stars are still going to come up in front of you and set behind you on both.
All right, let me put it this way. if you're in a room and you're looking at the ceiling, right?
Got it.
If the ceiling is, say it's stars, it's a celestial dome, right, and it's going one way. If you look the other way, if you turn around, is it now going clockwise as opposed to anti-clockwise? Was it as it was before? If you're looking at the ceiling,
Is the star pattern spinning, or is the star pattern going from left to right? Is it going from in front of your
let's
vision
say
to
that
back?
you're looking one way and it's going clockwise. If you look the other way, is it going to go anti-clockwise then? No, it's still going to be going clockwise. It doesn't matter which way you're looking if you're looking at the ceiling as the celestial stars are.
Okay. Now hold on. You're talking about standing on a two-dimensional plane, looking up at a flat ceiling, right? Not a ball.
Either way, it's all about direction. It's all about direction.
No, that's that's not about direction. That's a matter of what you're sitting inside of.
No, it
Because
doesn't. Listen. For the example, it doesn't matter. All it matters is that the stars are going clockwise. You're looking one way. You can turn around. They're still going clockwise. That's the whole point.
So then, what about the stars that go in the same direction on the equator?
Yes. If your ceiling is going clockwise with star patterns, okay, and you look the other way, it's still going to be going clockwise if you're looking up at the ceiling. This is my whole point. It's very simple.
But that's not what you see.
You're on the equator and you're looking up, and the stars are in the same direction as they do, like we have on video. What now?
The stars are going the same direction on the equator?
Yeah, the northern and southern hemisphere will both come up.
The equator star trails are actually very interesting because they make an arc pattern, which is exactly what you would expect on the equator of a spinning ball with stars all around it. It's exactly what you would expect because it's spinning. And it's exactly what you would expect from a spinning ball on the northern and southern hemisphere, what we see.
You just said that we would expect the stars of the equator to be going in separate directions, north and south. But that's not what we see.
No, I said north and south. I don't remember saying that.
I
said they make an arc. No, I said the equator stars, which we were just talking about in this conversation, goes in an arc pattern. It doesn't make a circular pattern like the top and the bottom of the ball.
Well, the stars of the equator go the same direction.
Yeah.
I'm confused as far as what. Oh, he's gone. Never mind. Earth's flat.
Earth is flat.
The Earth is hella flat, dog.
Think we'll have one of them, emergency broadcast system alerts one day. Earth's flat. Just thought we'd let you know. Beep.
We'd like to let you know the Earth is flat. Thank you.
This is just a test. If the Earth was actually flat, you would not feel spinning. You would not see a curve. And a few other things, but we won't tell you just yet.
We now return to your sun worship programming.
Well, that guy was really civilized.
Yeah, Tim's pretty cool.
It was really good that he stopped in and did our show for a little bit.
Are you sure that wasn't Rishi?
Oh, if that was Yishi, that'd be hilarious.
Denver. I think Ben's from Denver.
I got chills. They're multiplying.
I don't know if you guys have been talking with anybody that tries to. They bring you into a debate about buoyancy and density because you don't believe in gravity or you don't think it's describable, and then they ask you about a cell phone. Has anybody heard about this?
No, I haven't. This is interesting. Go ahead.
Okay, so they bring you to accelerometers. Have you heard of these things yet?
The accelerometers are what's in your phone.
Yep. Oh, he's got it. Okay. So you know how they work and everything and how they're going to describe how, it's all done with the
I have no idea. I've never heard this before.
Okay, so accelerometers, the guy got me onto, it can't be buoyancy and density because the telephone that you're using there that, sips around, how do you think it knows which way it faces? And I said, oh, a gyroscope. And he goes, oh, no, there's no gyroscopes, it's an accelerometer. And the old ones that you used to have with the flip phones would be analog. So now they're all digital. So I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I start searching as he's trying to explain how it measures gravity at 9.83 meters per second. The difference of variations of it with this electronic circuit. And I'm like, well, what is it measuring? He's all gravity. And I start reading, and what it is, it's a crystal inside of an IC, an integrated circuit, that vibrates at a certain reverberance or frequency, and it measures this integrated circuit measures the difference in the vibration, and they say that's when it's being adjusted inside the phone. And I said, well, there's a lot of different things that are going to adjust that as far as just a magnetosphere and static electricity. And he's like, oh, no. And then I said, well, what is it actually measuring? And I said, it has to use electricity to vibrate these crystals inside of this integrated circuit in order to measure the difference of what your so-called gravity is. And neither one of us could agree after that as far as what was going on, but I just never heard of accelerometers before, so but I'd let you guys in on it.
I guess it's like the combined navigation and airplane gyro concept, like the overcomplexification of it, the fact that they think they have like Newtonian, Einsteinian gravity equations in these satellites that's navigating them, as opposed to just like being in orbit. And then you have the other one where they think they have like gyros in planes, which are like these computer ocean pools that have a gyro spinning around in it, and it's like sensing gravity and where you are relative to the universe, and it's just time and speed and velocity, and it's just full over complexification. It's just like a level. They're probably just a bubble of mercury in your phone, or two of them.
Yeah, I have no idea. I really need to smash one of these smartphones and see what these things are.
I don't know, but having an accelerometer in your phone is kind of like, how does a watch measure barometric and altitude? There's got to be a set point, and that set point, he's trying to say, includes an equation that has the speed and rate of fall and gravity included into it.
Yeah, a device that measures vibration of a rotation of a mechanical apparatus with no moving parts is what it actually says. It's the definition of an accelerometer. And I was like, oh, that's some big words that don't mean nothing.
Yeah, that's impossible. Wait, so he's talking about the mechanism that like tells your phone, like you can use the compass on it and it, like flips your screen for you. And you can shake
not
it.
The compass. I that's what I had problems with it. It's the facing of, like, how you can look at the stars and you can put the star thing up there and look all around, and it moves with it. It's the visual positioning XYZ axis of the face of that phone.
You know how you can answer your phone just by like picking it up?
I don't have a smartphone, so no, I don't.
There's a setting on your phone where you can use your accelerometer to notice that you've picked your phone up, and you can program it to either answer the phone or like do a voice activation, like Siri will just pop up when you pick up your phone and hold it to your ear.
Oh, wow.
They call it an accelerometer, but it also sort of like, I'm trying to think of the other things a phone does where it notices it's like kinetic movement. But you don't need anything to do that besides two equally 90-degree parallel like thermometer bulbs of mercury or a ball. Now to make it small and make it really fast and make it 100% consistent, and then put electronics around it and a phone. I don't know what's in there though. I have no idea. But the accelerometer has to have a gyro to it, like you're saying, and whether that gyro is
No, it doesn't. The accelerometer is just a crystal, a very, very small crystal, like not atom size, but almost that size. Like
it doesn't rotate with the phone or nothing.
No, it's a static piece of material. It's an integrated circuit. You know what an IC is? Those little prong-looking things that you had in electronics class that you can push into a push-pin electronic board, and then it just looks like a little spider almost. That's what those things are. Just a little integrated circuit that's made out of crystals that vibrates.
Yeah, but how does the crystal know if the phone flips upside down?
Because it measures the difference in the vibration of the crystal, and they say it's the gravity, the force of gravity on it that they can measure with that vibration.
So
Where
like
I say it's not that, it's the way that we have a magnetosphere around the Earth, and you would have it where so much it's how I explained
you're
before.
telling me you could put one of these crystals in an airplane and navigate it?
No, it would just tell if it was up and down. If it was face up, down,
So
forward, which way it was facing.
You could navigate 360 degrees of this crystal in your airplane.
Not navigate, you could just tell yourself which way you're facing.
Well, yeah, okay, so I think that the crystal thing is not at all the accelerometer, and that they just say that because the accelerometer
I'll go with you on
will
that.
freak people
Sure.
out. And the crystal's probably used for something else that may be associated with that, but I don't have any idea. Crystals are the other thing we know nothing about. But if the concept is that we can put a crystal in something and it like knows where it is, then that's the gyro. But we have a gyro for that because the crystals aren't doing that. So, and that's what you have to have a gyro and accelerometer. So it has to have a set point in which it moves, because it's not moving, you're moving against it, so it measures acceleration. Like that's what a gyro does. But to not do that, to not have like a gyro operating the way it does in a plane sense set point, you would have to just have really like 2 level beads of a liquid that would be consistent.
I will say this I mean, to play devil's advocate, I used to work with gyroscopes a lot. I call them gyrospheres for some reason a lot, but gyroscopes. And I used them for, it was in an inner sense cube. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of this, but they would put them on the top of your virtual reality headsets, and on top of what I had was full chest plates that I made with BB guns, and put my own inner sense trackers on it to where I could track my guns. And I took off the shelf like Land Warrior and Halo and things like that, to where I could play the games of virtual reality off the store shelves. It just are off the shelf games. It just seemed to me that I had a lot of hard problem with the gyroscopes in refreshing. So if I was, spinning around, killing somebody, trying to run around, and I'd playing for 15, 20 minutes, my actual starting point, so my 0 degree of my X and Z axis, yes, I'd have to have a button that I pushed. I had to integrate it into a keyboard, to be honest with you, so I could push it anytime I wanted to reset. And that's where I think they're trying to get away from a gyroscope for the telephones, or any type of a device to where you can play games and do it all by motion.
Yeah, but when you use your compass on your iPhone, like every time I open mine up, it asks me to calibrate it, and so I have to hold it flat, and it has a little bead on it. Like
no
it's a
kidding.
game. It goes on it until it calibrates.
I didn't know that. See, I don't have a smartphone. I still, my phone's like 10 years old. So I'd never played around with any of this new stuff.
I mean, a gyro, if it is what we're talking about, and it can get knocked around, I guess, over time. But again, is that in our smartphones? I don't know, man. That'd be a real small gyro, like a nano gyro.
Yep. Exactly.
So I downloaded a few apps, just one recently, that would trigger an application when you threw it. Right? So you threw it and it was supposed to do something specific. It was the Wilhelm scream, like the one from Star Wars. So you'd throw it, and ideally, when it started to fall, it would give the Wilhelm scream. So just like a little gimmick. There was another one that basically had simulated like little iron balls, and you could tilt and move the phone, and the balls would bounce around on the inside, and you could adjust the weight of the balls or the gravity inside the phone, and it would adjust kind of the way the balls bounced and moved and the speed which they rolled and how they bounced and stuff. Is kind of interesting. I'm guessing that's what the accelerometer is, but I could see that more kind of mercury based. We're just using minute amounts of mercury, and they've just
Oh
found
yeah.
a way that it's being plotted out on the haptic sensory from your key from what you touch, and it's just plotted out on there with the mercury. And as the mercury rolls around, it can just read and reestablish it and configure it back out that way. But
No, that
again, I
makes more
have
sense, too.
zero clue what I'm talking about, so I'm just pulling stuff out of my ass and saying it. So,
Hey man, where's your credentials? What school did you go to? How much money did you pay for that doctorate?
doctorate. Yeah, I flunked out of college pretty early. I didn't make it more than a couple of months.
Yeah. Well, you're
So
better
I really
off.
didn't fail. It was a mutual decision that I not be there anymore. But that's true. I guess I would have had a good return on investment for my Federal Reserve notes, but I certainly don't think I would have gotten near the quality of education that I've received thus far.
No. I have to admit, I've learned, I shouldn't say I have learned more outside of school besides the basics. I learned more of the basics in school, of course, but all of my technological, electronics, computers, anything to do with alternate energy, all was learned on my own. And I mean, it's amazing to me that I can talk to people that have been to school for, 4 years in engineering, and some of them electrical engineering, and they have no clue how I'm doing some of the things I'm doing, and it just boggles my mind that what did they teach them? What did they pay $40,000 to learn if they don't know anything about ions in the atmosphere? If they don't know anything about hydrogen cells as far as transferring hydrogen into electricity, it boggles my mind.
It really does make you wonder what the heck they were being taught. But I guess they just compartmentalized the information until everybody's just working on one specific specialty. It's really nothing more than support. So that's all they know how to do is lend support to any particular theory they've given, because they only know this one small compartmentalized amount of information.
Yeah, and I knew somebody that worked for NASA as an internship, and they did something that I questioned a lot that this person told me after this, but they said that they were signed up for one of their experiments. And I was, oh, really? What are you doing? They're all, I have to lay there for 14 hours on one side, and I can't have any salt before I eat. Or I'm sorry, I can't eat any salt for 24 hours before I go there. And I have to lay on my back for 14 hours, and I can turn on my side for 6 hours and back on my back for 10 hours. And I'm all, what is this all about? And they're all the effects of salt within your body when you don't move, for space travel, for long space travel. I go, isn't that what they have the ISS for? Aren't they doing these experiments all the time up there, with people all the time? Why would they be having interns, do this? And she looks at me, she goes, I really don't know. And she goes, I'm going to have to ask them. And I was like, what the hell are they talking about?
We need to know what it'd be like for space travel if we studied it here on Earth. So we're going to do this study on what it would be like to study gravity on Earth.
Exactly. Yep. That's why we said astronauts to the moon. And I get a funny look.
It's pretty true, though.
have noticed that I've come to almost enjoy the funny looks the same way that I kind of enjoy experiencing that cognitive dissonance every once in a while. To just have my mind so completely warped and twisted out of whack that it takes time to bang it back kind of into place. I got to take a couple days and recover. That's always kind of fun. But I've always enjoyed awkward silences or the strange looks like I have three heads. Maybe that's why I've not had a problem actually putting my face out there and putting my thoughts out there on the radios, because I've always kind of done it in my personal life and gotten to the point where I enjoyed it. So it doesn't bother me that people want to call up to the radio station when I'm on to, threaten to kick my ass or tell me what a moron I am. Because at this point, I just think it's fun.
Well, and honestly, it doesn't matter what you're talking about or how much you actually know about a subject, you're always going to have somebody calling you a moron. It doesn't matter what you're saying.
But see, I think that's just it. Most of these people that are listening and are thinking I'm a moron, I don't think that way, because they are very mainline, mainstream. That's their whole thing, is they just completely bow to peer pressure every day, kind of subconsciously. So they have very carefully constructed their life to be in such a way that they don't even have to worry about it.
Good point, Josh. Like I've been saying, their heads are so far buried into their own self-absorbed thoughts and activities that they don't need to care.
Or they only care how society is going to view them, how their peers will view them. They don't want to think about conspiracy theories, because what if it breaks their brain? What if they start saying the things that I'm saying? Then how are their family going to look at them? How are their friends, their coworkers? I mean, they just can't handle that sort of pressure, that kind of scrutiny. So I think they just have learned to always, toe the party line, do whatever it is that's going to the path of least resistance. It's just going to be able to let them travel and go throughout society without being scorned and spurned and sort of disassociated, because that's what they fear the most, is time alone.
I've never understood that. I really enjoy my time alone. I'm not going to say I'm like, a complete, not troll, a complete hermit or anything, but I am an invert. I do like to go out in the middle of nowhere by myself. I do like to go for a motorcycle ride for hours with nobody else. I know it sounds weird, but I enjoy it. It doesn't bother me. And it really makes me wonder sometimes when I talk to some people that I know, especially girlfriends, friends that are girls, that say, they don't want to be alone tonight. Could you come over? I don't want to be alone. And I'm like, what? Jesus, they got kids, some of them. And I'm like, I would be happy to be alone if I had kids.
Right? You think that would be the ideal time. You would want to relish every moment you could.
We don't spin.
The earth done been hella flat.
So I know we have at least a couple of viewers out there. Anybody want to hop on? I don't know if Tom Shakur, he was active on the chat. I don't know if he's still around. See, there he is.
Yeah.
Why don't you hop on, Tom? I see you out there still.
Tom, I know. I take advantage of that too. I'm not stupid.
Where did Hackalak go?
He's back. Hackalak is back.
Yeah, get a yak. Hack is back.
Don't talk back.
I got bounced hella hard.
Diggity yak, diggity yak.
I wonder if that's what happened to Tim. And he just
Earth Angel, Earth Angel, will you be mine?
Who's got the trucks in the background now? Is that you, E?
No, I got
Sounds
2
like
feet of
somebody that's-
insulation around me.
That's full armor. I forgot.
What are you hearing now?
Not an aviary.
Holy shit! Sounds like you're in a war zone, man. Back in World War II. I mean, no shit. Aerial bombing is happening outside your house or something.
There's this flag. That Tim Osmond guy was quite a character, huh? He came armed.
Yeah, he was ready.
Yeah, has anybody got any FTP sites of just crap that you can throw at people, or images, documents, articles, anything like that?
We're,
The difficulty with them is holding them accountable for what they say and getting them to not answer questions and stuff. It's obfuscate. I don't really know. As far as it seems like it's just pure shill tactic. I don't know if that guy has like a personal shill agenda where he's learned how to stall and interrupt and hold the floor and just like have his voice heard constantly, and he's just pissed at like or like getting attention for being so retarded to talk about the flat earth, and he just wants to like he really thinks it's the meeting of mental retards, so he can just stand here and say anything he wants. It doesn't matter. He's smart than all of us. We'll never figure it out, and he's gonna have a good time. Or that was literally like his shift, and he was made like $100 an hour. He got his ass whipped. But seriously, it takes too long. We shouldn't be wasting 35, 45 minutes letting those guys get their rocks off on us. It aggravates me.
Whistle blows, he punches his clock, and
I thought it was really productive though, because it solidifies my feeling and my thoughts when I talk to somebody like that, and especially about the International Space Station and the reflection of it. You just start really pushing it at them, and they go, well, all right, whatever.
And it drags out better examples, and it's sort of like a muse. Even though he thinks we're joking around or not tracking the conversation, it's a muse for all of us to sort of get out and share examples that other ones of us haven't seen or been on the back burner for a while. It's just like, did full armor get bounced again too?
Yeah,
probably.
I got bounced hell hard. Yeah, so I don't know.
Did the CIA come out there and smack you?
Dude, the CIA and we don't talk anymore. When
he is the worst for reception, by the way. If anybody gets bandwidth issues, it's always going to be hack, and it'll come.
Sometimes I can like hear them pinging it and like wait for it to like lock in. Anyways, if I were to be hosting a show, that I wouldn't allow any of that. And I would probably not be a very nice host. But I don't know. To me, it just feels like a huge waste of time long term. We should be talking about furthering stuff. Like, we should be talking about crystals, dude. Like we're doing. Talking about the accelerometers, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. It was productive.
No, I agree. I wish I knew what next to do. I have a lot of information. I have a lot of great points to argue.
Well,
if somebody comes up, but
you need to stick with us, man, and we need to do this together and hang out more often. And
I came back the next day.
You got a nice, reasonable, scientific mind. If I were to say,
like we need you.
The next thing that I would work on is something like a tool to make something, or something that makes something, because otherwise you're just sort of like putting a lot of energy into something that's not going to come up with any product or production, anything to do with, anything to show around. You're just be spending a lot of time on like your own ideas. It's got to be like a building, like an action. That's why I like John Savage's gyro thing. even though it's
See, I did do a little fact checking while he was on, and Jeranism did put out a video 5 months ago saying that he didn't think the moonlight was the same or whatever, but their reasons are not right in my mind, because out here for testing and whatever well services, we have these really good, expensive gauges that do really accurate laser spot readings of the temperatures, right? And they're saying it was all control issues. Well, that's what I'm thinking I'll do, is the moon one, and actually do it with good equipment in a controlled place.
I think that the IR or a laser thermometer is a not the way to go.
Okay, why?
Can I bring some information into this about this whole cold moon thing?
Yeah.
I actually did an experiment with it, and what I used is a parabolic lens, about maybe 3.5, 4 feet, something like that. So where it's really magnified. And I can start some really good fires with the sun. Let's put it that way.
Here we go.
So I was out there and I really wanted to see if I could feel the difference. I could feel a difference, yes, but when I measured the actual difference between it, and I don't have, these IR thermometers like you're talking about, those guns. I was just using regular thermometers, the ones that you either put in your mouth or you put actually the old mercury ones. I had some of the old glass ones as well. But I did see a difference, and I know this is nothing, but I saw a difference in 2 degrees. But I was magnifying it to where the moonlight should be starting fires, is what it looked like to me.
Putting it through glass, too. It might have changed some of its, whatever that mysterious property is. Future fire.
The septic light, yes.
Yeah,
I understand.
That was bugging me for so long. And so you actually, because you know how you magnify the sunlight, I wanted to see what happened if you started cranking up the moonlight. Could you set something? But apparently it's a different kind of light. It's a different kind of magic, or not magic, but things react different to its light than they do to the sunlight.
I kind of noticed it too when I looked through telescopes at the moon. Not so much that my eye got colder, but the same effect that, like, if I go skiing and it dries out my eye. Yeah.
Do you think that's just not from blinking because you're looking through the telescope?
Yeah, you know what? It could be. Yes, because I'm closing the other eye. I guess that is possible. That's what it is.
Just playing devil's advocate, but I know exactly what you mean.
Damn it, Josh.
Yeah, but he would be looking at like the other stars and planets and not being fatigued, and then be looking at the moon and be like, man, why is my eyes dry when it normally doesn't?
Tell you another one's the moon. I don't know if I said something to you guys, but I go out there and yesterday and today, as a matter of fact, I go out there and I look at it, and if I'm standing to where there's nothing in between me and the moon, and it's close to a full moon, it pulses for me as far as the intensity of light. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed that.
I haven't.
That was very intriguing. You mentioned that yesterday. Is there any way for you to capture?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I can.
That's some more
leg drops. Pulsing,
yeah. Yeah, it's like it's not like I don't want to be like, it's a 60-second pulse like you would see of light, the frequency of light or electricity, but I don't know. It's like probably every 15 seconds I get a brighter, almost like if I have to look directly at the moon, and when it happens, it's almost like the glare of the moon brightens just a little bit and then comes back to what it was just a second ago. It's not so much that I can look at the light that's hitting the ground.
The halo?
Yes, exactly. The halo will grow at that point.
Okay, that sounds kind of familiar.
So, do you think it could just be the dilation of your pupils that is allowing light in as it's trying to adjust? The pupil dilates and constricts, and it's kind of auto focusing the way the light is coming in your eye, so it's kind of seeming to pulse as the light allows less light or more light in.
I didn't even think about that, but yes, it could be for sure. It could also be associated with the heartbeat, and you get a little bit more blood pressure in the vessels of your eyes.
See?
I mean,
that's good too. Yeah, but again, just to play devil's advocate, I can imagine I guess the same way I could have seen the lunar wave. I suppose I could imagine a pulse of light in the moon.
I've never actually seen the lunar wave. And do they see that with the telescope, or do they see that with just cameras?
He's got a decent camera mounted to a very good telescope.
A digital camera?
Do we know anyone that's done it?
Personally, no. I know, I guess there's Crow and then 3 or 4 other people that he is collaborating with that have also caught it.
I had the suspicion that the moon wave one was kind of like the ringing bell moon mist from the space travel with CGI. That was my fear of it.
Yeah.
Like a shill out there feeding us into the digital matrix.
Right. Have you listened to a lot of his stuff? Probably not.
No. I remember watching those videos real close though.
He was trying to figure out a way to describe what it was that he was seeing, and the way he described it at first was like a refresh rate on the moon.
Yeah.
And when you see it, it does kind of look that way. But again, he's kind of backed off, stepped away from that sort of a description just because of what that might imply. So he's
hold on. What might that imply?
Sort of this introduction
CGI
into it. Yeah, and this digital matrix, and we're living in a programmed reality type thing.
Do you remember? Did you see the movie Catching Fire with Jennifer Lawrence she was like a bow. Mm-hmm. She shot arrows. What's the movie? What's the name?
Hunger Games?
The inside of the Hunger Games playground had a sky dome to it, where they like projected,
weather modification or controls, everything.
Yeah, so it's kind of hinting at like that, but real super high end technology. The real CGI, the real smart architect, alien type people.
I see, because the moon's projected on the dome.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And I thought about that. Dude, I thought about that long and hard. I never saw the wave. I looked really close to the wave at the moon for the wave. I don't have like anything special. I just look at it.
Well, my next is I want to create, and I think it will, rainbow with moonlight. If you can do that, then a rainbow with moonlight.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that is really good.
I can do it on my own with my own light. So if the sun has a lens behind it to create rainbows or halos or sundogs or anything, then the moon should do the same thing.
Like today, the sun and the moon traveled the same path today, and it was a full moon. So if you went out during the daytime tomorrow at high noon, and we're going so you got the angle of the rainbow, and then you just try to recreate it when the moon was high noon. See if it comes out with the rainbow.
I think the problem is that I'm not sure the light, because I had to use some pretty powerful lights to really get the rainbow to show up, to where I could really see a rainbow on the mist that I was putting in the garage. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to magnify the moonlight to get it to show a rainbow. I don't know.
Well,
I'd be really interested to see.
Well, if you're, like I saw a video today, a guy was talking about rainbows. He had a sprinkler going in his lawn and a camera, and he was showing how if you walk around, the rainbow doesn't move.
Nope. As long as the medium doesn't move, it's sitting right there.
So he had this sprinkler, and the sprinkler was going back and forth. The rainbow wasn't moving, and he was moving. It wasn't moving, And so he's talking about this, and I thought, well, if he just stayed there until nighttime and the full moon came over and the sprinkler kept going, then and the moon's in the same place the sun then theoretically he should be that's your opportunity to see if the moon creates any kind of rainbow. To go back to the same spot.
I'm gonna go drag my hose out and go try it in the moon because I know the moon's out right now. I'm gonna go see if just standing out there with I've never done it.
It would help you if you did it in the daytime though, so you knew what angle the rainbow was coming off at under the sun.
I know exactly.
Knows.
It's 15 degrees off of 12. If you're looking directly away from whatever it is, the sun and the moon. It's 15. I'm going to. I'll be right back.
Oh, dude, this is sick.
See, instead of wasting our time with Tim Swanson.
Tim Swanson? What was his name? Yes.
Osama bin Obama.
Osama Obama. Like Val Pacino. Val Kilmer, Al Pacino, and
Val Pacino.
And Val Kilmer.
Al Kilmer.
Yeah. Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer.
Al Kilmer and Val Pacino.
And Al Pacino. And the guy with the D.
Oh yeah, rainbow, big time. It's not as bright as I thought it would be, but it's you can definitely see the halo.
That's amazing.
That is.
I don't know how I'm going to get it in the camera though. I got to go back out there and turn everything off. I just ran back in. I was like, "Ah, rainbow!"
Wait, I missed something.
Yeah, there was a rainbow.
Get out of town. Was it like in black and white?
I didn't get a chance to ask him what the spectrum was. He ran back out to turn everything off. He just had to run back in to tell us there was a rainbow.
What's the guy's name who plays in Casino with Joe Pesci?
Robert De Niro.
Is that Al? Robert De Niro.
So that's who it is. It's a trio. Kilmer, Pacino, and De Niro. Val Pacino.
Okay, I'm back.
What was the light spectrum on the rainbow? How many colors could you see?
Honestly, I can't really see that much color. I just see the halo. I just know it's there. I can see it's a brightness in the dark because I got to look at the forest. I can't be looking at the street that I'm standing on. And it just shows a white or a gray halo in the water. But the trippy thing is this. It's bigger than the rainbow that I get from the sun.
What do you mean? Bigger.
It's different.
Okay, so yeah, it's bigger. So if I'm standing, and I will say this is different angles of where the sun and the moon are located in the sky when I did this experiment. But okay, so if I take a hose and I just spray it out there in the sun, and the sun's directly behind me, the rainbow or the circle rainbow that I see is smaller than the halo that I just saw out there. This one's almost, I don't know, maybe 2 feet bigger or 3 feet bigger around, or, you know, let's say a 2 feet thicker, the radius going between in the inner part of the circle is 2 feet wider than the other one. I don't know what that means though.
That's interesting.
That's awesome. You need to find a way to get a picture.
Come on.
Yeah.
You guys got a hose, right?
I do have a hose.
I do not.
You got a moon?
I do have a moon.
Why don't you go spray? Just put the moon behind you. You're gonna spray, and the circle's gonna. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be 15 degrees off to your left and down about 20 degrees is where the center of that circle is going to be. And it's just going to be a faint circle, but you'll see it. Definitely if you're looking at a dark background.
I'm half tempted to go out there and try it.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. That was the first experiment I got to do in a long time for the Flat Earth. Yeah, I got something else to paint now. Halos on the moon. I've been doing a painting here lately that shows the true and the fake. And what it is an orangish sun world that's curved and, you know, where gravity affects things in weird ways, and how, you know, you can see or the curve stops the boats and things just don't work right. And then you got the one that's matched up with it that's blue, where the floating islands are flat and the horizons are flat, and there's no space really. It's just the lights in the sky. It's kind of a cool concept. I can't wait till it's done.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I hope you send us a picture of it when it's done.
Oh, for sure. It'll be on my living room wall.
Awesome. Do you do a lot of painting?
I just started about a year ago. I've done maybe, I don't know, probably 10 or 12 paintings. And I'm starting to get the bigger ones, you know, like 4 feet.
Like how big? 12, you said?
Paintings? Yeah, something like that.
12 feet? You said you were getting into the bigger ones.
Oh, no, not 12 feet. I've done 12 different paintings.
12
you know,
works. 12 works of art.
Yeah, a couple portraits. I've got into landscapes, things like that. But no, the 4 feet, I'm getting into bigger canvases.
Gotcha.
I don't know. To me, that's a big canvas.
No, that is a pretty big canvas. It's a lot of space to fill.
And I'm an impatient painter. All of my paintings, like the one, the devil or the demon and the angel there, 30 minutes. I'm very impatient.
That's still really cool. I really like the way that turned out.
Yeah, I was amazed. I was like, wow. That was like my second painting of really trying to paint something that it came to my mind. And I was like, whoa, I can actually make it look what I wanted to do.
You sure did. That's cool.
The Earth is flat.
Gravity doesn't exist. So what do you guys think of gravity? How do you get past that?
We don't see it anywhere. Like nothing has gravity. And then with buoyancy, as long as you can sort of support yourself with buoyancy, you don't really need anything else.
Cool. Okay.
I mean,
Just
I
wondered
guess,
what you thought.
yeah, I kind of go on the premise that like we have scientific laws, and there's two ideas out there that transgress each and every one of those laws, and it's the globe and evolution. And gravity is one of those things that we don't see it, and it doesn't seem to, it's like reversed. It's like mass is a function in buoyancy. And then we make mass the center, and they try to tell us that buoyancy is a function in mass. And then all this density and gravity. It's just like reversing stuff. So it's the same thing when we go back to, do we have a solar system model? We don't have a solar system model because we don't have any gravity examples of any kind, on any scale, anywhere, in all of science, throughout all of history of man. So the gravity thing just goes back to people thinking they see a curtain. Huge waste of time.
Yeah, I can't believe anybody argues the curve anymore.
Did they see it?
Oh, they swear they do. That's for sure.
Certainly wasn't there, though. There is no curve.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Gravity
And
doesn't
you know,
exist.
one of the things that bothers me about the videos that I've been seeing from a lot of different people, and I think one of them is Negator. I have to look at him, and I've said this a few times. I don't think anybody ever hears me because I'm always screaming in that. But he shows a video of this cargo ship type thing with these, cranes on it that's over the horizon just a little bit, to where you can only see the tops of the towers. Mm-hmm. And the problem is they zoom back out away from this thing, as far as the camera comes back, and it shows you, look, there's over 2 miles of water all the way out to this ship, and then it drops off. Well, that's not the way reality is. It doesn't go 2 miles out there, and after 14 feet drops the last 20 feet. It would have to be that you're seeing the water halfway in between that boat. That's where it would crest. So you wouldn't be able to zoom and focus in on the water crest and the boat. And that's what you see, is the water crest and the boat really close to each other. And so I see that some of those images are adjusted, or they're just not right. They're just not what you normally see in real world.
Well, yeah, I love the one of the guy filming the lunar eclipse. And he's out there in the dark or evening time waiting for the moonrise. And the moon comes up and the sun hasn't set yet. And then the lunar eclipse shadow begins to come down on the moon from above. And he's sitting there, he's been talking, like this is his third segment. He's been talking all about lunar eclipses and all the stuff he knows. And then, he's standing there with 3 basketballs, and he's in the middle basketball, and he's thinking, he's trying to tell us how we're seeing the Earth's shadow come down from above down the moon, across the moon. And same stuff. His cognitive dissonance. It's hilarious.
Is he stumbling all over his words while he's trying to explain it?
He kind of scratches his head for a second. I think the camera cut off, and he came back, and he's like, okay, so what we're seeing here now is this is what I think I got. Okay, so, he just starts talking, and then, of course, he doesn't get to a point, and then goes, well, so that's our shadow on the moon for sure. Definitely, 100%. It can't be. It's like the star through the moon. The moment you see the lunar eclipse happen the same time the sun's in the sky, the sun worship is dead. Can't happen.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Which old witch?
The big gold witch.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
We'd like to welcome you to Munchkinland.
You see clouds behind the moon. You see stars through the moon. You see one of those things one time, and if you don't know the Earth is flat, no one said it to you, you wouldn't know what to think. But If you're considering,
There's lots of things I've seen in my life that made me question more than half the things that were taught to me. I mean, literally, that I'm just like, the sundogs is one of them. I just gotta really question what's going on.
what do you think they are?
Reflection of the dome.
Right, like the sun's going back and then coming forward. Yes, I think too. I think so.
Well, I think it was Josh who brought up the video for us. But yesterday we were looking at sundogs, and I mean, I've never actually seen this in real life, but I've seen the full circles with the arrows at 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. But he was showing one that showed the connection all the way around the globe. As far as your entire horizon had a circle that was.
Oh, we
and
need to find that.
Blew my mind.
I can find it. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was incredible. We should show that one again.
And the thing is, it's like, okay, I'm sure you've seen double rainbows, because I can make those all day long outside in the sun as long as you got the right amount of water. But have you ever seen quadruple rainbows?
On YouTube.
No, not even on YouTube.
In real life?
No.
Well, I can't guarantee that I've seen full spectrum as far as you're seeing all the primary colors and secondary colors of the rainbow on all four of them. But I've seen three of them that were very they weren't translucent, they were almost vivid colors, and then the fourth one was very very faint, but it was at a waterfall to where I was looking down, and there was split clouds. So it wasn't just direct sunlight, and it wasn't just different angles of mediums of water or sheets of water in front of me, but it was different angles of light, as far as what I perceived anyway, of light hitting those different sheets of water. And it was like, I was like, what the hell's going on here? But I didn't have a camera, and I can't really prove that I saw it, but I know people have talked about seeing this before too, and it doesn't make sense if it all works the way that rainbows are supposed to, or reflections are supposed to.
The one that I like is when the sun or the moon is high noon and looking up and seeing a halo. Because then it feels like I'm looking at a sundog that's going off like basically the peak.
Yeah. I just realized I talk about rainbows a lot, don't I?
Rainbows are awesome.
Yeah, they're gonna call me a rainbow boy.
Well, apparently, it didn't rain before the flood, so the rainbow was like a new thing.
Oh yeah, check this out. It was a covenant with the earth, between the earth and God. It had nothing to do with man as far as the rainbow, if you read it in the Bible. I will admit I'm not one of those Bible thumpers, go to church and all this kind of stuff. But if you start reading into it, it's really weird that the rainbow is a significant representation of the covenant between God and the earth. It's like, oh, okay, how does that work?
What does God say the covenant is?
Covenant's almost like a contract. So his contract is that he will never fill the earth again.
When we see the rainbow in the sky, then to know that he won't destroy the world by water again.
That's what it signifies.
He didn't say he wouldn't do it by fire, though, did he?
Hell no, or ice. I think he reserves the right to freeze that water and kill us with it.
Or wind, or hail, or fireballs, or blood from the sky.
Oh,
You guys ready for this crazy
He's
stuff?
He's got all those in his quiver. Yeah, rainbows are a trip. I want to see if them. Oh, there it is.
Rainbow.
Wow.
You know,
Watching
even off of the ones to the side when they turn 90 degrees from the sun, even those have connections that go vertical all the way up to the top. I wish they would look directly up.
Did
Like
he
go
not
up
put
right
them
now.
straight over?
Is that oh, there's a there's a circle up there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I need this. Is there any way you can send me the link for that in the side chat? I want
You
that.
betcha.
That's all firmament right there.
Can you rewind that again, Josh, for me?
Yeah, run that back, big dog.
Like I need to see the whole thing from the beginning.
If that's not proof, I don't know what is. I mean, jeez Louise. Although, we do have to play devil's advocate. This could be CGI.
Mm-hmm. NASA's not even this good.
It could be Project Bluebeam.
It looks like
I don't know.
opportunity God's showing somebody that there's a glass dome above their head. They should wake
It
up.
does look like that's just like a giant version of other ones. Where you can, it's like
like
you're
a
just
full
seeing it
one.
further out. Right. This one's just gigantic and directly all the way around you
Yeah,
versus
like
being far enough out.
yeah. And then there seems to be like a lip or a something up there that's creating a reflection.
And see, like this, now you're just far enough to see the whole thing from afar.
I love sundogs. That's pure dome action.
I cannot wait for winter. I'm going to go up to 13,000 feet and go take my camera and go see what happens.
Have you been up that high before?
I've been up to 14,000 feet, yeah.
Wow.
Did you notice a difference in the power of the sun?
Oh, for sure. Yes.
It's like
I tell you what really... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, yeah, I was just going to say it's wildly stronger. I thought so. It was like...
You know, I've noticed, though, even from when I was younger, the sun just getting more powerful. I mean, I remember in
like
Sacramento, I used to be able to go, well, years. No, I mean years. When I was younger, I could go in Sacramento and skateboard all day long. And yeah, I'd get a little bit tanner or a little bit burnt. Man, if I go out in the sun sometimes now, I can be out there an hour and I'm burnt red. Red.
Yeah, dude. I have a strong exposure. Been here for some years, and it like the sun is stronger now. I can't hang out at certain hours on certain areas of my property because the sun's just pounding me now. I feel like it's stronger. I would like people to
Yeah, I agree.
this stuff.
We don't get a regular sun where I live. I mean, we get sporadic seasons. But when we do get the sun, and especially in the last like 5 years, it's been really scorching hot.
Yeah.
I can tell you this much. I had 9 different varieties of plants, and not all of them did I have doubles on, but most of them I did. So let's say not 18, but 15 plants. And I watered them pretty regularly, or somebody else did at the shop that I work at. And I mean, so they didn't miss water, but maybe one day between waterings, and that should be plenty. And some of the plants are still just getting burnt out there in the sun. And it's like it shouldn't happen. They're tomato plants. They love the sun.
Mm-hmm. I took a road trip a couple weeks ago through the Valley of California, and just, I spent my whole life in the summertime in California looking at the plants, and they're always robust against late summer heat. There's like a dryness to the air, and you can smell the grass dry and everything, but they're always still sort of robust towards the end of the season before the rains come, while the grasses are all dry. And now the trees are just like falling over dead. When you see trees that are hundreds of years old, like giving up, it's something. They're all dry. They're all brown. Everything's not just the grasses, all the trees.
Damn it, it's still not the right video link.
I've been up to 10,000 feet, and it's like if the sun's 93 million miles away, it shouldn't feel that different up there.
Nope, not at all. The problem for me is the whole breathing thing. Everybody says it's so hard to breathe. Above 15,000, you better have oxygen or you're in trouble. Well, I know at 14,000 feet, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I mean, to me, I was like, oh, okay.
Some people have a hemoglobin with a strong affinity for oxygen. Stuff like that. You're probably well acclimated, but you go through a threshold of altitude and you'll feel it for sure. I mean,
well, and yeah, I have to admit, I had my lungs collapse, and I definitely was still holding 98% oxygen in my bloodstream. So
you had a
you're probably right.
oximeter on the airport.
Yeah, oh yeah. They actually had two, one on each hand, because I had a spontaneous pneumothorax. It didn't just happen. I didn't get shot or nothing. I was just sitting there, and all of a sudden, pow! I was like, oh, something's wrong. And I bent over and went to touch my foot, and my guts all went up into my chest cavity where the lung collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt everything like go up into my throat is what it felt like, and I went, oh, crap, something's wrong. But yeah, they I 98% oxygen level in my bloodstream with one complete side collapsed, 70% collapse.
Yeah, one of the indicators of a collapsed lung is tracheal deviation to a side because all the organs press up and everything pushes over.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
No
How'd
fun.
that happen? You were just at elevation, like hiking?
Nope, I was just sitting in my house.
No way. But then you can go up to 14,000 feet and you're okay?
Yeah, I know. It's really crazy too. They were telling me, don't get in a plane, don't do this and don't do that. They told me I'd have to have surgery. I'm like, you are not cracking my chest and putting anything, staples inside of my chest cavity. You guys are crazy. So what they ended up doing is they went in through my rib cage. They just split, I don't know which number, but they split my rib cage apart there and just stuck this tube in, sucked all the air out, and then put this talcum powder stuff that would adhere my lung to the inside of my chest cavity, and just me breathing with a one-way vent, make it to where they'd push all the air out of that. Yeah. And it held, and they told me, I have to admit I smoked, and that's one of the reasons they said it happened. It's genetic. I'm a certain height, and I smoked and stuff, and it took me a year or two to quit smoking, but they're all, you're going to die. Your lungs are going to collapse again. And sure enough, within 2 weeks, it collapsed again, and I had to go back in and do it again with it.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm alive. Go hiking for miles, so it's all good.
What a story.
Yeah. You're good at fighting things, hey? That's what I got.
Sure, I'll go along with that. I'm definitely a fighter.
Oops, sorry.
There's the link. Cool. Right on. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I knew I'd find the right one somewhere.
Ooh, I got a new favorite video. You really do have to wonder, though, looking at this video. I mean, really, dude, is it that I'm crazy, or are we crazy, or do other people just not recognize what's in front of their faces? I don't know. I don't know. This is strange.
I think it's that belief in authority that when they've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on their education, it's the idea that that education, all that money spent, all that time and energy was wasted, and it's this simple. I think that they just aren't able to accept that.
Well said.
For sure. You know something I just noticed about this video is really weird to me? You know the ancient depictions of the sky, they show like crescent moons or Mercury symbols in the sky. I don't know if you guys looked at Mercury or things like that as far as the symbols of it for alchemy symbols, but if you look at that sundog, if you look all the way up as far as where that halo of that rainbow and everything and the arms coming out, it makes a Mercury sign. That is so strange.
That's interesting. Coincidence.
Dun dun dun.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Earth is flat. Gravity doesn't exist. We live under a glass dome.
You don't spin.
So E does equal MC squared.
No.
I knew I'd get it sometime. I've been like the last 10 minutes trying to get this thing up and running. I haven't used it.
Let's just not get the laugh tracks going.
Can you download
I can put whatever you want on it.
Can you download the Looney Tunes package? Or like those old cartoons, Wile E. Coyote or something.
Yeah. Or
So Josh, when are you gonna, join a syndicate and get your radio?
Eat a dick, gravity.
Was that Rumpus?
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am surprised each and every time I'm invited back into the studio. So I try not to think about getting my own show. I'm just trying to think about, making it to the next appearance. Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I could probably easily fill 2 hours a day, especially with that kind of platform. I could get bigger guests. It would be easy to get people on, I would think.
What if they kill the internet on October 1st?
That would be one hell of a birthday present.
the Underground Railroad would have to start again, but with a new meaning.
I've got a few repeaters set up at about 100 feet. I can produce a little bit of internet for people. I don't have a whole lot of content.
Yeah, that's how it'll have to go.
Notice it's called the World Wide Web, not the World Round Web.
Yeah.
Webs are always flat.
Bugs
We're
used
all
to
a
be
bunch
good.
of fucking assholes.
Look at you.
I have that too somewhere.
You can't even make a baby, man.
And David Letterman's production company is called the Worldwide Pants.
So say good night to the bad guy. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
Do you know? Do you know what I mean? Say one thing about the flat Earth topic and debates that I've seen that maybe I said this before, but there's guys that are coming out here that don't even speak English as their first language or even their second language. It's just they kind of know a few words, and they're out here debating. You know, the Earth is flat, and this is why, and they stumble over the words, but they're still trying out here, and that amazes me. That's got to show some type of a feeling that arises in people to make them come and do that.
That compulsion. Yeah, absolutely.
Man down, man down.
Ah, crap. They're after us.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I don't understand because there's like 50-something people. Well, I don't know about now, but there used to be 50-something people watching the other channels. Or that, you stupid moron! Don't talk to me. Shut up. What's your name? Turn your camera on.
Dare I suggest it's a television mindset? They want the conflict. They want the drama.
Yeah, you're right. That is for sure.
Even when Tom House Salad was on, we had there was like up to 10 viewers, 7 viewers. We had at least twice as many as we do now.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Classic.
I'll tell you one movie I saw not too long ago. After I actually ran into the whole flat Earth topic.
Okay.
What's that?
I said okay.
It was a movie that I saw. It was it's not so much it's about the flat Earth, but it mentions it, and it just blew my mind. It's Phenomenon with John Travolta, and the part of the movie that I saw, or that this is about anyway, is they're in a bar. John Travolta's already had the phenomenon happen to him, and this guy's trying to defend him after everybody in the whole town's like ridiculing John Travolta. And he goes, "Why do you have to ridicule this man? Why do you have to put him down? Why do you have to prove the Earth is flat? Isn't it enough that it's true?" or something like this. And I was like,
What?
So I rewind the movie, and I was like, no, they didn't say that. Okay, so play it back. And sure enough, they're talking about, he's like, "Why do you have to prove the Earth is flat?" And I went, oh my God, that's going in the notes. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to. You can make a video out of that easy. That's awesome.
I really want that soundbite too. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah, it's a bar scene. It's about halfway through.
That's awesome, man.
I could I couldn't find any.
There's so many in movies now though. You just
I heard people talking about the Back to the Future trilogies and stuff like that where it shows it, and all I saw was the symbology in the neckties in certain areas. I didn't see them talk about flat Earth. Am I missing something?
I know the first Back to the Future in like unbelievably well, almost line for line. And there's a lot of hidden references in that one, but I don't remember there being a flat Earth one. And I don't know the other ones well enough to comment.
Okay, just in some of the videos, I heard a lot of people talking about, Back to the Future was another one that showed the flat Earth, and like I said, I couldn't find it.
You said it's about halfway in?
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, they're in a bar. It's the guy that the old guy is talking, and everybody else is listening. Matt, you already got the movie all keyed up and getting there to get the soundbite?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. On YouTube?
Do what?
Is it on YouTube or on something else?
YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe not there.
Ah, damn it.
Keep scanning.
I know he says it. I didn't hear shit. I played it back a bunch of times.
I got a Mandela effect. Well, you'd have to be a really good fan of the movie Robin Hood. Was any of you a big fan of that movie?
Which one? Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was the Prince of Thieves version, by the way.
Exactly, yes.
I can't say that I was. I'm sorry.
You weren't, but you have seen the movie, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like a few times?
I don't think so. Probably one time.
Okay. This is going to be more for Josh then. Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Duncan? The old guy with the bandana around his eyes?
Right.
Right. Now, what do you remember the line being when he finds him? I'll give you two options. The first one is, "Not even when they took my eyes, master." And another one is, he doesn't even say that. He just said, what is it? He says something completely opposite. Shoot. I've lost it now. Darn it. I'll have to search it, man.
That's what he said the first time.
He did?
The first one. That's what I remember. Not even when they took my eyes.
Yeah, not even when they took my eyes, master. Yeah, everybody, like, I remember that, but no, that's not the line. Which I'm gonna find for us now. Sorry, E, I forgot. Do you like the Mandela Effect? Subscribe to it?
I will say there's probably one or two of them that I can go along with. A lot of them, no. I will say that no, it doesn't seem right.
That's where we kind of fit along with it too. But we love investigating them, and we love looking into them. And most of them, though, you're right, can be explained away. But some of them just can't.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. Now the Oscar Mayer Wiener one, I mean, you spell it out, it's pretty easy. I don't know. I have problems with it. I see where skeptics of it look at it, and I can go, yeah, I see why they question it.
Yeah, because a lot of it is simply a false memory or an imagined memory. Something really similar, but just not the right context or something, you know? But like, did you see the interview with James Earl Jones? Where he was like, I clearly remember reading the line, Luke, I am your father. But he actually then, you know, that wasn't the line, right? He said it twice in real life that he remembered that was the line.
Did he recant that at some point?
No.
And say that? Oh wow. No, that whole Luke, I'm not your father, and no, I'm your father. I beg to differ. That's one that I have to go along with and say. I know that's what I heard before, but I wasn't a big Star Wars fan, so I didn't watch the movie religiously over and over and over.
But see, I did, and I know it was that too. It just doesn't sit well. Maybe you'll find the one that will turn your stomach, but it just feels really uncomfortable, let me tell you. It's like, it's nothing worse than, I can imagine if you're starting to lose your mind or your memory, you'd have these sort of deep, like, confusion / unsure feelings. They're pretty intense.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I definitely have to agree with that. I found it. I found that scene I was talking about. I can give you the link if you want.
Yeah.
Oh yes, please, man.
I want to hear it again before I send the link and look like an idiot. Hold on. Jesus. Oh. There it is. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah.
That was.
Did you hear it?
Rewind.
What are you so afraid of? What have you got to lose? He wasn't selling anything. He didn't want anything from anybody. He wanted nothing from nobody. Nothing. Nothing. And you people have to tear him down so you can sleep better tonight. Slack and sleep better tonight. Am I right?
Nice.
And that was Robert Duvall. That's towards the end, wasn't it?
I don't know. I just typed in phenomenon bar scene. Like I said, I'll send the link.
I mean, there are so many references. I think that as a group, we're going to focus on revealing as many of those as we can.
I will say I didn't remember it exactly as he said it, though. I did say something different.
Mm-hmm. So. Which is common. We fill in the gaps in our head.
I mean, it's close. I was pretty close to what. I mean, he does say prove the Earth is flat. It was enough to where I took note. And what blew me away is I just got through learning about the flat Earth. And I'd seen that movie before and it never stuck out to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally think maybe it's a bit of foolery to mix and mess with us, but I'm not sure either. Some of it's bullshit for sure. Others need more investigation.
Shit, apparently all you got to do is start charging people money and they flock in to $1 cover charge. I heard on other channels they were talking about some guy that all he does is play video games and, I guess screen shares what he's done and he talks about it.
Yeah.
He's got like 60,000 subscribers or something. I don't know what they were saying, but it sounded like he was making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
This is happening, yeah.
I guess what my problem is understanding the type of person that would pay to watch this.
Well, okay. So it's a gender group is who would pay for it. It's the kids of the kids right now that have tons of disposable money and they're spending their money on things like that. Like it's hip to follow people and, video games have been popular for as long as I can remember, and I was a child. In the early 80s, I remember 1985 unboxing the Nintendo NES with the gyroscope robot, and the Duck Hunt.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Popular ever since.
It's just about as stupid as people. What is that guy's name? He's married to Kim Kardashian.
Oh, that idiot. Yeah.
He's got shirts that are wife beater shirts or even just regular
Let's not even name him.
I can't even imagine that somebody would be so gullible or just downright stupid to go out and spend that kind of money on a t-shirt that you can go get the exact same thing with just a different label behind your head that's $6.
Mm-hmm. You see a lot of false idol worship in our times, modern day. Things we're seeing now is like things we've seen in the past in the days of old. But it sure is weird. It sure is uncomfortable seeing the level of obsession and, the rise in it all.
Yeah, the whole thing, I don't know, you said something about the days of old that triggered a visual in my head. All I could think of is like something that I've always thought about was weird is that the advance of technology around the 30s and 40s, around World War II, when everybody was worried about Germany, They were doing things in Germany that, not so much that we couldn't explain, but we could. Well, I guess yes, we couldn't explain how they came up with the ideas or figured out the ways that certain things worked. Rockets, levitation, some of the psychotropic drugs that they were figuring out how to come up with the compounds to figure these things out. Just the implementation of social programs that they were doing were far beyond anything anybody in America or Britain or anything was doing. And it seems to me like everybody wanted control of what they could do after Germany fell. And one of the things that just, it showed a red flag for me as far as when I started looking into this, was that they didn't just kill the Germans, or they killed a lot of Germans that were just foot soldiers, but the people that were in charge were took over, and we split, or the Allies and Russia or Soviet Union, however you want to look at it, split up the spoils of war, of technologies that we had no idea what they were. And we just wanted to go and reverse engineer it. And where did Germany get that stuff? And that's what I have to start looking at. Babylonian, Sumerian. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Operation Paperclip started after that as a result too, post-war.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the scientists, the psychologists.
No, I mean, if you look at it in this way, you can look back and see not only did they wipe out the country and take over all the precious goods and the treasures, but they also took their high-level people. And you could say that the whole reason that this war came to be was because everyone in the world, specifically named USA and a few other superpowers, had grown either jealous or insecure or a little off-put that Germany was advancing so well. And you know what? Maybe it's just Germany's thing. They were very intelligent people. They designed very good products. They were very smart. And maybe Hitler had a really good thing going there for the country. But for them to have destroyed the country, taken the people out of the country and dismantled it and rebuilt it under their guise and their power, leads me to believe that they were much more advanced than what the US had to go through all that trouble.
Yeah, no doubt. Hell, just look at the jets, the MEs. I'd never actually flown one, of course, but I've flown them in simulators. That's something I used to do when I was younger, is fly a bunch of different simulator planes. But the MEs were just above and beyond anything they even knew what to do with. I mean, I know the B-17 bombers were just like, what the fuck? They got things coming in at 3 times the speed of us. What could we possibly do? I think Germany, I don't want to say that their ideals were right, because they weren't in any way, but they weren't that much different than America's right now. I mean, conquer and control everything, and whoever doesn't agree with you, just destroy them, and any means possible, even if you just have to just infiltrate them and get rid of the leader and put your own fake puppet in charge. If not, go to war. But I think Germany just got greedy. I think if they wouldn't have went against Russia, or Soviet Union, whatever you want to call it, I think they would have won.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Hack the planet. Anybody heard of, what was it? I don't want to get this wrong. I believe it's Syria. I believe Israel was the ones that did it, but they dropped a tactical nuclear neutron bomb on Syria.
Is this recently, or is this in the last year and a half, 2 years?
March. I'll pull up the video if that would help you. That's a trip too, because the way that the camera is affected by the bomb, it literally looks like radiation is coming out from it because of the way the camera is affected with the speckles and the, I don't know, you'd have to just see it.
Negative Ghost Rider, the pattern is full. That means I'm going to go. It was a pleasure again. Thank you, guys.
Yep, see you later. Boomba. Oh, darn. Nobody to watch it.
Sorry, I'm here. I'm watching.
Mess it up by moving the screen around.
Nope.
Did you see that sucker?
I did.
Ooh. And they've got like 6 different angles of these things going off. Did you see that right there? That speckle around the bomb? I'm not sure if that's what kind of indicates the neutron bomb. this is it. It's showing all the different angles. But yeah, I saw this and I was like, oh no. Yeah, you know what? Another thing that maybe I brought this up before, but that was the whole effect of them doing those shootings in Texas when they used that bomb to kill that guy. That was unprecedented. Something that I'd never heard of them ever doing before. What, they fashioned the bomb, stuck it to a remote control little tank thing, and drove it up there and blew them up. I think that went up and beyond anything we've ever seen them do, and above the Constitution.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just judge, jury, and executioner. They just decided, okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and blow him up.
Yep. And they said they did it because they were protecting the cops, so they wouldn't have to hurt each other or get hurt themselves or put themselves in harm's way. Isn't that what we spend of dollars of training and equipment and these things called guns that they're supposed to be so equipped with and kill people?
You would think for as proud as they are of that thin blue line, that they wouldn't be such chicken shits about it.
Yeah, that scared me though when I saw that, because I was watching it that night. Somebody told me about that it was happening, so I was on the news watching what they were broadcasting on. I think it was Fox. I'm not positive, but then I had both computer screens sitting here and my handheld devices with different viewable things of information, live feeds of the. That was the funniest thing too, is that the shooting wasn't over. Nobody caught this guy. They hadn't blown him up yet, is what I'm getting at. And they had a conference with everybody, the mayor, the chief of police, the people at the hospital. They were commending all the first responders and how well they did, and how the chief of staff of the hospital did such a good job of getting all this coordinated. And I'm thinking, you guys haven't even got the friggin' person who shot everybody. What are you guys talking about? And it was literally like an hour and 20 minutes after it all started. They were doing that conference on two different news stations. And I'm watching a live feed on two different screens showing them still trying to figure out what the hell's going on. They got people arrested on the highway. They got people down in the street. Plus they had that guy in the parking garage. I was just, it was a clusterfuck the entire way.
I will say I missed so much not really watching TV or keeping up on current events until after the fact. But I don't know, what are you going to do?
No, stay away from it, man. I can't wait till the day I don't turn that TV on ever again. I didn't turn it on today though. It was really cool. I did all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I turned it on today either. And it was my day off.
There you go. Oh, and tomorrow's Sunday. Another day.
It is, but I actually have to work at 9, so I'm actually going to probably roll off here since that's only a few hours away.
No doubt, man. No doubt. I'll let you go.
We'll definitely have to plan this for another time because this was a lot of fun.
Definitely, yeah. Got to get some spinners in here too, though, because that does help sometimes.
That does help. That would at least bring the drama and the chaos that others are so attracted to.
True. Alrighty, well, have a good night, man. Sleep tight.
All right, thanks. You too, E. Well, all right. Another exciting episode. All right. So I guess I'm out of here. Everybody, have a good night.